Good evening, Nick family. Uh-oh. Hold on. Is that somebody? Okay. All right. Good evening, Nick family. I'm your host, Stephanie. This is Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the MBK Network. Today, we'll be discussing three or more players that we hope are on the Knicks draft board come June 23rd. This should be a lot of fun. Hello, fellas. How are you?
I'm blessed, can't complain. Welcome, Queen, as usual.
Appreciate you.
Shout out to you, Jarrell. Shout out to chat. Peace and blessings to everyone.
Yeah, man. Salute to everybody, staffer. You know how we do on Tuesday nights, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good one, just like always.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I'm looking forward to it. So let's get right into it. Who are the three? But if you have more or more players on your draft board, in order if you want to, it doesn't necessarily have to be in order that you hope the Knicks are picking from, and then later on we'll talk about sleepers and things like that.
Okay. Staff, you want to go first? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, well, I'll go first. My number three on my board for the Knicks will be Jalen Durant. Um, the kid is 6'11", with an excellent wingspan. He has a post game. He has a jumper from the outside, a little 10-foot jumper. We always say that we want a shooting center, and this guy brings it to us. He has a off the dribble. He has handles. It could get tighter, but driving to the basket with handles, he could drive past this man, get to the hole. Very athletic, could rebound. Definitely a rim protector for Tom Thibodeau. And if Mitch don't sign back, I definitely think that he is one of the best prospects coming out college um, from Memphis, and I think he would be an excellent pick at center. He would definitely stretch the floor for us. Um, some people may not agree, but I think he'll be good. My number two uh, on my board will be Ben Matherin. Um, I think he is 6'6", another big wingspan guy. Can defend off the ball. Um, as a go to guy, he can be a go to guy. Um, he can shoot from the outside shot, basically a three-level scorer. He could shoot from all different aspects of the court. He's very athletic also too. He could get to the cup. Um, he's good in pick and roll also too, and the pick and roll defense. Um, he's a slasher also too. He will probably fit, not probably, but will be a good fit right next to RJ.
Hmm.
Um, will definitely bring more athletic to the wing and to the shooting guard position, and it will be hard for teams to switch on us because we got two guys that can defend and also two guys that can attack the rim. So it's I think I take Ben at number two, and this is gonna be a surprise to
I was
everybody.
well. First of all, I was surprised that Matherin was number two. So then I
Yeah, I was
knew
about to
there was a
say
shift in
because we got
your
some of the
board.
same players, but our orders is a little
It's a
different.
little
That's all.
different. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up.
My number one pick on the board for the Knicks will be Dyson Daniels.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yeah,
nice curveball. I like that. Like that. Like that. Like that.
yes. I think we definitely need that point guard. He's excellent on defense. He blocks shots. He steals the ball. He's a big guard on the perimeter. Um, he has a catch and shoot release. He can shoot the ball from the outside. The only thing, a little thing I think he needs to work on is more ball handling and playmaking
Hmm.
from others. but at the same time, I think that will improve. And I think there is also uh, competition for him to win that spot because we don't really have a definite point guard, and I could see probably a little shift in tips when it comes to rookies these days, and he actually seen how the rookies were very valuable to us later down in the season, and he admitted it. So I believe if this kid comes into the camp and shows out, I think he could fit the rotation, and he could be I don't know if he could start, but I think most likely he will get some minutes in the rotation because I think we may have Derrick Rose or probably also probably get a point guard, so a veteran point guard. So that's my three right there.
Wow, this is going to be an interesting discussion. So we're going to get our three out the way, and then we'll get
Okay.
into the discussions and the cross discussions,
Okay.
cross questions. Jarrell.
Well, I'm gonna talk about the. I guess I have two players on the list, the same as staff. So,
Hmm.
I guess I'll talk about Jalen Duren first.
Okay.
He's my number one center. Like I
Hmm.
think we had our very first draft show that we had on here. He was my pick
Yeah.
because I actually think Mitch is gonna walk.
He's
But
he's number one on your list, regardless of position.
no,
Oh, okay. No, I was just
I'm going.
I didn't mean to
I'm
interrupt. I thought that's what you were
No,
saying.
that's okay. I think I guess I'm gonna just have I don't really have them in order.
No problem. No problem.
Um, but I just know Ben Matherin and Jalen Duren is the same players that I have with Stafford. So I don't
Okay.
know. He everything that he said is true about them. The only
Mhm.
thing I'm gonna say about Jalen Duren that Stafford just the ferociousness that he plays with.
Yeah,
I
no
like
doubt
that.
about that.
Other everything else that Stafford said is true. Like touch around the basket, physical specimen. What 6'11", 250. He's only 18 years old. He's the youngest player in the draft. He just plays with an intensity and a ferociousness. Pretty much, I kind of think nobody in the whole entire draft plays like that besides him, especially
Hmm.
out of the bigs. Most of the bigs, are skillful bigs. Some of them are the ones that shoot.
Hmm.
But Jalen Duren, he's not a shooter in terms of like 3-point shot, but he does have a little midi. He
Right.
has touch around the basket on both hands that he can
Does.
actually turn on both shoulders when it
Hmm.
comes to the hook shot. So I've seen all of that when it comes to him. Ben Matherin, just like Stafford said, 3-level scorer, can play defense. I think he's our best wing selection. Um, what else? When it comes to him, yeah, pretty much everything Stafford said that he can handle 3-level score. He could play D. He will actually have time in the rotation if he actually gets drafted here. I think Cam will be in trouble if he gets drafted here. That's how much. That's how high I have of how high I think of Ben Mathurin. Like he'll get some burn. Like Tibbs will probably have no choice but to play him.
Wow. Okay.
So just because of the intensity and the amount of things that he could do on the court, I think Tibbs should have to would want to play him. I don't have Daniels on the list because frankly I don't think he'll be there at 11. Period. I think he's gone. But I would have him on the list because just like Stafford said, he pretty much does everything that we need a point guard to do. I don't necessarily think that he's the most natural fit at point guard when it
Hmm.
comes to his playmaking and running the team because he's so young and he still has to have time doing it. But he's a very very good pick. I don't have him on the list just because he would be in the if we trade up
Okay.
category for me, like what we're talking about later. So I guess the player that we don't have in common for me is Mark Williams because
Okay.
since I do think Mitch will walk in free agency. Unfortunately, we have to draft before free agency happens.
Hmm.
So since because of that, to me, I think we need to pick a center. Whether it's Jalen Duren or Mark Williams, even if we don't lose Mitch, I still think both of them are better capable backup centers at the time than Sims will ever be.
Oh,
Yeah, ever.
wow. ever.
Both of them will
What?
be better than Sims. Like they both have
Yeah,
intangibles that Sims just don't have.
right. Um, what if you were comparing Doran and Williams? Anyone you like better? Anyone you think is a better defender? Anyone you think is a better shooter?
Um, I
Definitely Durant to me.
Yeah, it would be Durant to me when it comes to offensive skill set, when it comes to touch around the basket. But I have seen in workouts lately, especially in his pro day, Mark Williams has developed a 3-point shot now.
Mm.
And he actually, it's just workouts. So there's no telling what it will look like, when we actually play games. But in workouts, he's hitting them consistently also.
Wow.
That's one thing Jalen Duran has yet to do. He still hasn't he doesn't have touch outside of the paint area. But Mark
And
Williams, like, I don't know if he just developed it in the summer. Obviously, Duke didn't ask him to do any of this stuff, but
right.
he's shown in his workouts and pro day that he can actually shoot the three-pointer at a consistent clip. He also is a 70+% free throw shooter. So we all know
Yeah.
what that translates to when it comes to shooting and the touch around the
Right.
basket and stuff. So
Right.
when it comes to defense, Mark Williams is a little longer. He's a freak when it comes to measurements. He's like 7'2" with like a 7'6" wingspan. So that's just stuff you can't teach. But Jalen Duran is my number one just because of the way he plays, his
Hmm.
ferociousness,
Hmm.
the way he attacks the basket, the way he just goes about playing basketball, and he's the youngest player in the draft. So
Okay.
those would be the differences between the two to me.
All right. Well, I'm gonna break out five.
Okay.
I'm gonna break
Oh,
out
oh, 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 you
five.
going five? Okay. Oh, you going five? Okay.
At five, I got Sohan, um, who
Okay.
I really like, but I can't put him any higher than any lower than that, any higher than that, I should say, because
Hmm.
we're betting a lot on his defense, his offense coming around.
Hmm.
I like the fact that defensively he plays very well on and off the ball. I like his pick and roll defense, his ability to defend out on the perimeter, his ability to rip a rebound, bring it down the court, and look for people. Like he has okay vision. He's 6'9". His switchability. He can switch all. I think all five positions for a little bit anyway. Um, but he only shot 29.7% from three.
Hmm.
And if you're gonna be a one-way player, my preference is that on this team you at least be able to play defense, but you got to be able to shoot, a little bit. He's showing signs of that, but he's five. Doran is four. I like Doran. I like to me. I feel like he can come in statistically and give us what Mitch is giving us. He can give us 8 and 8 right now, I believe. But in terms of defensive reads, in terms of learning the NBA and things like that, because he is a rookie, I think that part may take some time. But statistically, he can get 8 points in 8 rebounds. Um, Number three is Johnny Davis. I like Johnny Davis. He has a high floor. I don't know how high his ceiling is, but he definitely has a high floor. I like his toughness. I like his ability to get in the lane, the mid range. He's another one though that doesn't shoot well from three, and we need that. Like we need guys that can space the floor. And I'm with Stafford. I've been going back and forth, and I kind of have them neck and neck right now between Ben Mathurin and Dyson Daniels. Neck
Okay.
and neck. I go back and forth, back and forth. Um, Mathurin, I like, he can hit the three. He can
Hmm.
hit the three. His mid range is okay. He goes to the basket. Defensively, he has lapses at times, on the ball. Sometimes he doesn't get low enough. Sometimes they just blow right by him. But then I've also seen clips of him really engaged on the defensive end, really moving his feet. He has the defensive tools um, to do it. Um, and I like his athleticism, but I like the skill first. Like I like my
Right,
players to
right,
be
right,
skilled. And if you athletic on top of that, that's great.
right, right.
So I like him. But there's something about Dyson Daniels that he's just Mathurin was first. He was first. He was way ahead of. I think when I first did this, Dyson might have been three or maybe even four. I think I might have even had AJ Griffin ahead of him. But this
Okay.
guy, This guy, I like his defensive versatility as well. And even if he's not able to play the point guard for us right now,
Hmm.
I'm hoping in another year or so he will be able to. But he could play on the wing. He could play on the wing. He could defend. He
Hmm.
could be a secondary playmaker. He's gonna move the ball. He's a good rebounder, obviously for his size. His shot just has to improve. It,
Hmm.
it's just something about him that makes me like Stafford want to put him to the front of the line. I just think Mathurin is a little ahead of him, but he's gonna be that guy. Like when we was talking about Giddy, when Giddy went 10, and we was all looking around like, why would you take
Hmm.
him
Right,
at
right, right,
10?
right.
And then you saw him play, and he hit one jump shot, and I remember saying, "Oh, if he
Yeah, if he
start
can hit
hitting
a
that
jumper,
jump
it's
shot,
over.
it's a wrap." And that's kind of how I feel about Dyson.
Right,
If
right.
he starts hitting a jump shot,
It's over.
yeah, I think it's over. So those are my five. But let's talk a little bit about. I like Williams too. I like
Hmm.
I like Williams too. And actually, it's a tough call between the two of them. Um, what's refresh my memory, Doran's free throw shooting.
Like 61, 62,
Oh,
60s. Remember
see
he's eight.
that?
Remember he's 18, Steph.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna need a little
Think
development,
about
man.
he 18. He gonna need some seasoning regardless.
That free throw
He,
shooting
but
just
he should. I believe he could shoot much better than Mitch. I think he has a more
oh.
better art in
Mm-hmm.
his wrist when he shoot. You know what I mean? So I think he could. I think he could get to at least 70%. Once he gets accustomed to the NBA and he keeps shooting,
Hmm.
I think it's possible.
I believe I agree with Steph. I think it'll actually raise.
It'll rate.
I'm not really. I don't want to say I'm not concerned at all, but I'm not too concerned about that. I think he'll get better as he gets older.
Yeah.
Do you think if we draft him because remember the draft is June 23rd, the Knicks have
Hmm.
until June 30th to sign Mitch.
Hmm.
Do you think if they draft the center, especially, I mean, I think it's going to be telling depending on who's still on the board
Hmm.
and they draft the center. But if they do draft the center, do you think that the writing is on the wall that they know that they're not going to sign him, or whatever they offered Mitch, he's not going to take?
Not necessarily, because I think whether we draft Jalen Duren or Mark Williams, say if we do sign Mitch,
Hmm.
say if some, I think he's going to walk, but say if we do sign him, either one of them is still more capable than Sims is. So I'm cool with them coming off the bench. Neither one of them have to start their first year. Like I don't mind that. And plus, I don't even if Mitch isn't here, I don't see either one of them starting their rookie year.
Okay. Okay.
We'll either have to start Noel, bring somebody else in, but it won't be Sims. I don't think Tibbs is going to do that, and I don't think he's going to start a rookie, especially not right off the rip. Like they will have to do a lot for Tibbs in order for them to start either one of them.
Right. Shout out to the chat, D Public Enemy. He shot threes at Duke. Really?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I think he might have attempted one, and that was like shot clock stuff.
Right.
Duke did not tell Mark Williams to shoot threes at all. I don't think he even attempt. He might have only attempted one his whole career. And it's not like Jalen Duren. Mark Williams was there for 2 seasons. Like he's not a freshman. He came after his sophomore year.
Right. Okay. And the other ones I think we all had was Mathurin. Any concern about, and we've talked about this on prior shows, that we're crowded at the wing position and we're bringing in yet another wing if we draft Mathurin?
Well, yeah, that's kind of the problem with drafting another wing, regardless of who it is. Like,
Mhm.
regardless if you're a fan of Davis or Mathurin or anybody that's going to play a wing, we have to think about that they probably won't play, especially not soon, unless you think Tibbs is just going to pick a rookie over Grimes or Cam at this point. I don't expect them to get a lot of burn, especially not in the beginning of the season. I don't expect them to get burned at all, regardless of who we draft.
But
No, well, Jarrell.
Go ahead. Good stuff.
But you got to understand, Grams was a rookie too,
Hmm.
and he earned his way on the court. So
You're right. He earned it, but he also.
I'm not saying it's 100%. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? But there is a chance
Oh yeah, it's a chance.
once he shows out, and he does it, the defense especially, and that's gonna get him on the court. So
Hmm.
if he plays spectacular defense in the preseason while getting some burn at the same time and making shots,
Hmm.
you never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
I completely agree with that. But you still remember we have Tibbs as our coach still. So that's a caveat you have to think about too. Like Grimes actually, obviously he got Tibbs trust and everything, but Grimes also got time because of injury and COVID.
He did, but he
If,
kept it though.
but he kept it. But if those things wouldn't have happened, would he have got on the court in the first place?
Probably not because he wouldn't have got. He would have had to beat out Derrick Rose. But
Right.
remember, a lot of players across different sports got their opportunity because of injuries. Tom Brady, right?
Right. So if say we do draft Ben Mathurin or any wing for that matter, it's not just about him. You have to think about Rose, Grimes, Evan Fournier, Burks, Cam, and RJ.
This is what I will say. The hard part is that we don't really know who our young guys are yet.
Right.
We don't really know who, like, so should
Yep.
we not
I
draft
agree.
Matherin and we don't know what Cam is going to be? Should we not draft
Right.
Matherin and we don't know who Grimes is going to be? Like, these guys, like Josh, shout out to Josh, Uncle Fulio said they haven't separated themselves yet. It's probably going to take another year or two for us to really get a chance to see. Like RJ just separated himself this year, and we
Yep.
got an opportunity to see who he can really be. And I'm not talking about flashes. I mean, RJ to me was a bit more consistent this year, where his effort, his energy, the way he played his game, he brought that every night. So you knew what you were getting, right? I'm not saying he didn't have
Right. Right.
bad shooting nights, but you kind of knew who RJ was going to be. You don't know who Cam is going to be night to night. We don't know who Grimes is
Exactly.
going to be night to night. We don't even know who Quickly is going to be night to night, though he's gotten more consistent as well. So I'm not sure I'm
See,
ready to not bring in a wing
but I
when
think
these guys haven't separated themselves yet.
I completely agree with you. But on the flip side, just playing devil's advocate,
Okay.
somebody will say, well, in order for them to do that, why bring another person in that plays
To
the same
crowd the
position?
space.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, I agree with you.
I hear
But
you.
somebody else on the flip side would say the exact opposite, and that would be true also. You never know.
No,
It just
you
depends on the
Yeah.
see,
player.
No, I
my
get it.
thing
It's a fair
also,
point.
my thing also too. I'm going with Leon Rose say. Um, Build through the draft. You understand what I'm saying? And maintain that flexibility where we can bring along these players and build like that. So that's what I'm basing these young guys coming in. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna build through the draft. Whatever the player that we pick will be a fit. He might, as Jarrell said, he mightn't start. He may get some spot minutes here and there to see what he can do, and within a year or two, a la age Dyson Daniels, he may be our starting point guard. So,
Hmm.
I'm just going what Lee and Rose building through the draft.
Right.
Okay.
Listen, I think Mathurin, and I'm a big Grimes fan. I'm a big Grimes fan. But
Hmm.
Mathurin might beat Grimes out in training camp.
He can.
you know, and depending on what Grimes adds to his game this offseason, because I see Grimes as a high floor guy. I'm not sure about his ceiling. I see him as a 3-and-D guy right now. You pretty
Hmm.
much know what you're gonna get. But if he doesn't learn, I don't know about learn, but if he doesn't put the ball on the floor and kind of diversify his game, he could be passed up in the rotation.
Right. And to be honest, Ben Mathurin he actually could shoot better than Grimes too. A lot of people don't
A
really think that's
slasher,
possible.
athletic, dunker, finish at the rim. all of that.
Right.
So
So if he can do the same thing as Grimes can at a better clip, then yeah, Grimes will be the odd man out. You're right.
Right. The only thing is that defensively, Grimes
I,
is ahead. But this is what I'll say. Sometimes, especially when you have a high usage rate in college, sometimes it's a lot to ask guys to kind of carry their team on offense or be a big part of the offense and then also be a very good um, defender, even though Johnny Davis, was able to do it. But he has the defensive tools. And I think if he plays for a coach that holds him accountable, I just can't imagine him not playing defense.
but Jarrell,
Hmm.
I still, it's something that I just lost my train of thought. Just it's something that you said that it's gonna come back.
All
It's
right.
gonna come back. Come on, you're not even at halftime.
I'm about to say, man, this the first quarter. This the first quarter. I'm pretty sure it'll come back up. It was about Ben or Grimes.
Grimes, exactly.
Okay.
I don't think I see Grimes on the man looking on the outside, because he's still on his rookie contract, and the one that's looking for a contract is Cam. So I
Oh, I see.
mean, you know,
If it gets down to the money, they may.
exactly.
That's
That's a
true.
good
Also,
point. That's
that's
a And that's why I've heard people in the chat say Cam is trade bait, trade bait. I think a lot of times when we talk about players, we underestimate or we don't talk enough, I should say, about money, roster building. Um, Cam, I think we got one more season and he becomes a restricted free agent.
yep.
If he's asking for more money than the Knicks are willing to give, do they trade him now and try to get an asset for him as opposed to losing him for nothing? But they have up until the trade deadline to do that as well. They don't have to do that this summer.
Right. To be honest, I find it weird that they traded for him in the first place. If that's the case, it's kind of weird. Like the timeline is off because everybody has to. We mentioned it before. Like when it comes to all the young players, all of them are going to have to get paid around the same time.
Right.
They're like stair steps. It's like a year after another.
Well, I see it different. I see it as having assets for whatever that we need to have.
Hmm.
He could throw in to sweeten the pot also too. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we traded for him, but he's still a valuable commodity. It's probably something that we need that we could put him in a package, right? Because they may ask for him. Because remember, he's young too, right? And it may be a fresh start for him to go wherever he go and even shine even more better to get more minutes. So I mean, that's how I'm looking at it, as building more assets to get what we need. So, yes, we traded for him, but in return, it may be turn out to be something bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if he works out and he pops, they'll re-sign him. But if he doesn't, he becomes an asset that they can move in a trade. This is the thing though. The longer people will pay for something they can imagine, right?
Right. Right. Right.
When
Right.
when you haven't blossomed yet, they can imagine you being a star. The more you in the league, the more they see who you are, and your value can go down if you don't, meet those expectations. So
Yep.
let's see. I highlighted a comment by Nathaniel Ming, and I want to shout him out as well. Well, let's answer
Okay.
this question, but let me shout him out first. He commented on one of my videos, and I'll always say, we're here as content creators and panelists giving our opinion, but we learn from the chat as well. You guys give us something to think about. At least you give me something to think about. There's been many times somebody has said something in the chat and I've thought about it and revised my opinion. So I appreciate you. Nathaniel Ming commented on one of the videos when I was talking about upside, and he said,
Hmm.
I don't pay a lot of attention to upside. How many players have upside and don't reach it? Ben Simmons has a higher upside than Booker. And it just made me think that, yeah, we talk about upside, but we got to also talk about what's the chance that this guy is going to reach his upside. Like, what's his work? What's his motor like? What's his work ethic like? What's his hunger like? Like
Right.
um, all of those things make a difference. So I appreciate you, because we'll say all the time, like when we talk about Cam,
Hmm.
upside, upside, upside,
Right.
upside.
Right. Right.
But what is
Right.
his chances of reaching his upside? And you think about somebody like RJ, and you say, well, he doesn't have a higher upside. He might not, but whatever his upside is, he's reaching it. And you know
Right.
what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
you're getting
Exactly.
like 100% of 80 is 80. 65% of 100 is 65. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Right. Right.
So I appreciate you, Nathaniel Ming, for that comment.
But
You
and
I
wanted
want
to
to
say
say something.
something? Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
say something about the comment that he said.
IQJ.
Mhm.
My bad. IQJ. It's a business. Players get traded every day. Of course, players gonna be watching, but it's a business, bro. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute you here, 1 minute you there. Look at Ish Smith. You know how much trades this guy. You know how much teams he played for. Ish Smith. He probably played for all 32 teams, bro. You
Right.
understand? So players get traded every day. It's a business. Who cares if players is watching? It's a business at the end of the day. So if he needed to be traded and we need to trade him, so be it. That's what I'm saying. You can't be attached to players because you never know. They may go at any minute, even at the trade deadline, not or the draft. So I mean, look, you're gonna get your heart break. I mean, if you keep on thinking players is gonna stay here forever, bro. But go ahead, Gerald. My bad.
Mhm.
No, there's no problem. You talk about ceilings when it comes to Mark Williams and Duran. I don't think you can't. It's almost impossible to say a 18-year-old is who he is already, especially if he's already. I mean, just at 18, he's 6'11", 250.
Right.
So, and he's developed something about his game like for the last 3 years. Like he didn't come into Memphis doing some of the stuff that he was doing. Like I've seen him face up. I've seen him actually do moves around the paint that he wasn't doing in high school. So, um, in terms of work ethic and stuff like that, I think Jalen Duran will be the one of the number one players in the draft if you have to measure that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like he plays with a intensity that nobody else does in the draft, especially for one of the bigs.
Right.
And if you're going to talk about guards, maybe Ivy, and that's it.
Right. I think the only thing for me about a center is when you look at the landscape of the NBA, the wing players mostly become stars.
Hmm.
Embiid and the Joker, maybe you guys can name somebody else, are the only centers who are like really stars. So if you're drafting a center, chances are his ceiling is going to be very good. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah, right, right,
Um,
right. Not a superstar.
I think you have a better chance of a wing player breaking out and becoming a star than a center breaking out and becoming a star. But listen, we need it. I mean, how I see the Knicks constructing the Knicks or any team, piece by piece, step by step. I know I hear a lot on Twitter and in the rooms, the chats. This player, you trading for this player. This player is not going to take us over the top. No player is going to take us over the top. Any of the
Right.
players we have on this team, even if they pop, they're not taking us over the top. You're going to
Right.
need to add pieces to whoever we get, whether they're homegrown, whether you trade for them. You're going to have to construct a team around them, and you're going to have to keep building. It's not going to be just one person popping
Right.
and making all the difference. You know,
And also it's a gamble too. You never
Right.
know.
the whole thing is a gamble.
Yeah,
Like
everybody. Yep.
the whole thing is a gamble. Listen, and I forgot who I was talking to on Twitter today. And I forget his name. I like to give people credit, but he was saying that we always want the shiny toy. We always we want to trade for Donovan Mitchell. We want to trade for Brunson. We should stay put and develop our young guys like Memphis and Boston. And the only point I was trying to make is Holden, Holden can be an issue too. Like he was calling us stupid. Those stupid who wants to trade for these guys instead of developing your own players. But you can argue that you holding on to players and you don't really know what you have, and you're passing on players who you know are already good. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right,
Mm.
it's
right,
risk either way. Selling early is a risk, but holding long is a risk as well. You know,
Right.
because you holding on to somebody and you let a star pass through your hand because you want to hold on and think that this guy is going to develop into a star. So it's all a crapshoot. You taking educated guesses. You're looking at players. You're saying, "Wow, if this guy develops to his potential, he's going to be really good." But players level off every season.
yep,
They level off every season. You never know when you see a guy if he's going to reach his ceiling. So front offices have to make that decision. Do I hold on to this guy and hope he reaches his ceiling? Or do I grab this guy who suddenly become available because he asked for a trade or whatever the reason is, who I know right now is a better player? That's a
right,
hard decision for front office. You know, how many times you held on to a player and not traded them, and then they don't become who you think they're going to be?
right,
So that's why I'm saying the front office, their hands is full looking at our team and wondering who's going to pop and who's not. Because the longer we hold on to them, their value could decline. We thinking it's going to all be uphill, but their value could decline as well.
yep.
Right.
Like in
You
terms
know,
of Obi, Cam, if they don't show anything next season, they won't be high commodities either. Like if they level off and they don't, and other teams don't see progress, we wouldn't be able to trade them, or they wouldn't be that good of players for the Knicks either.
and that's why it's like stocks.
Yep.
If you have individual stocks, you like, should I cash in right now? You know, is this stock going to get any higher, or should I cash in right now?
Right. It's
And
a
I think
guessing game.
it's the same thing with players. This guy is hot right now. Should I trade him now, or should I hold on, hoping that he continues to rise? You know, it's hard to say. Um, so we talked about the centers. Doran Williams, Mathurin was on the list. We talked about him as well. Do you think? Well, let's start with Mathurin, and we'll talk about Dyson as well.
Okay.
What's the fit with the Knicks? The players that we want to bring in. How do they fit with the Knicks? And do we think any of them has an opportunity to get into the rotation? And we talked about Mathurin. I think that
Mhm.
this is the thing though, and you bring up a good point, Jarrell, about trust with Tibbs. Mathurin might come in training camp and beat Grimes out.
I can see it.
But if Tibbs don't trust him,
It
he
don't matter.
might not. He might not get into that rotation
Right.
immediately. Immediately. What Stafford? What you
I,
thinking?
I think Grimes is here to stay, man. Look, he earned his badge, man. He earned his badge. He is getting time on that second unit. If it wasn't for his injury, he would have been playing. So I don't think because Ben or whoever gonna come. Listen, I love them. We gonna draft them. We're gonna develop them. Yes, but that same fact that you're talking about trust with Tips, that is a big component right there. And
Mhm.
if he don't trust you, you are not playing. And he trusts his Grimes, so it's very dicey. But I don't see it. I don't see it that way. Mm-mm,
It's the same
I
thing
don't
with the
think so.
centers too. To me, like I think both centers have projected they can be better than Mitch going forward. Later on, not like next year, but just by how their projections and ceilings are. That don't mean they're gonna get burned next year though. I don't think it matters if we have Mitch or not. Like I don't think Jalen Duran or Mark Williams is going to get a crazy amount of playing time with Tibbs not at center. Nah, the way that he likes to, you know, protect the rim and have rim protection and their defensive assignment has to be the number one thing on their agenda when it comes to both of those rookies. And I don't think either one of them, neither one of them would get Tibbs respect when it comes to that. Not at first.
But I think Williams is a
I,
rim protector, though.
He is, but that don't mean he'll be able to do it effectively according to Tibbs at the NBA level. Like that's
I,
like
But
I
I mean,
understand that, but yeah,
four
that
blocks in
don't mean.
college, you can't get one block in the you
I'm
can't get
saying,
one block in the
I mean,
NBA.
both of them block shots. Like I think Mark Williams has 3 or 4 a game, and
Yeah,
Jalen Duran is over 2 a game. So
but
I
they
don't
are
know.
rim
It depends.
protectors, no?
They both are. Yeah,
but I think look, Jarrell, you even say the two centers that come in is even better than Sims. So
yeah.
I believe if we do get one of them, I think they can get rotational minutes.
No, well, I was talking
Because
about. I was trying to talk about starting though. You're right.
let's say we trade Noel, or Noel is a no show again with this calf injury, this mysterious calf injury, and Sims just so happened to foul out, or he ain't playing good, and or Jalen them come in and play some spot minutes and show out and develop his way into the lineup, beating out Sims. So if anything, if any player, I think the center position they could get minutes. I think once, but to your point though, the defense and this the rotation of the defense. I think it was you said that, Queen. The rotation of the defense, and if he learns and he picks it up, and he's aware, and he's blocking shots and rebounding. I think Jalen can be. I think Jalen could be a rotate. Not. Yeah, I think he could be a rotational player, bro, by beating out Sims. Because Sims ain't too much polish around the rim either. So he still has lapses.
I do.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
think they're better than Sims, though. You don't think, Jarrell?
Both of them are better than Sims, yeah. But to be honest, I was talking about like starting minutes.
Oh, okay, okay. Because remember, I think Tibbs had to be talked to over at the All Star break in order for Sims to get in the game. So I'm not
Right,
sure
right,
how
right.
high he is on Sims anyway. And if Noel is healthy and Mitch is back,
That changes everything.
then I
Right,
don't see them getting minutes
right.
Right,
That's
over
different right there.
right.
Mitch and
Exactly.
Noel.
I,
Shout
I
out
was
to Al. Go ahead. Sure.
I was going to say I was just pretty much talking about like if Mitch is here,
Mhm.
and like you said, if Noel is healthy, neither one of them are getting burned next year unless one of them go out.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's what I mean.
I would agree.
I want to trade Noel, man.
So everybody do. I hope,
Everybody
yeah.
do.
I want to trade him too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Ally Wise, but Mitch will be better too next year. Y'all undervalue Mitch. We're gonna re-sign him
better
anyway.
at what?
Watch.
Better at what? Exactly. That's the
This
thing.
is the
You
only
don't know
thing
what
I'll
he's going to
say.
be better at. You
This
just
is the
guessing.
only. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
wishful thinking at this point.
I could go either way with Mitch. I can go either way with Mitch. Shout
Okay.
out to my sis, Dewan Bailey. Appreciate you. Looking forward to that Alaska trip in August. But anyways,
Sloop, sloop.
um, Mitch has shown to me just incremental improvement over 4 seasons. But shout out to you, Ally Wise. If you think he's gonna make a bigger jump between his fourth and fifth season, I hope he does. I hope he does. And somebody in the chat said that Donovan Mitchell's contract is 4 years, 183 million. Actually, it was 5 years, 163 million. He played 1 year of that contract already. So he has 3 years, about 97 million left. And that fourth year is a player option. Unless I don't see him picking it up, but maybe. So his contract is actually $20 million less, almost $20 million less than RJ's max. And
Yep.
he's played 1 year of it already. And the last year is a player option. So he's actually cheaper. He's actually cheaper.
Yep.
So yeah. I mean, listen, all of these players, salute Jody. I hope they do get better. I hope Mitch gets better. I hope Obi, Obi gets better. They play for the Knicks. But
Word.
like Stafford said, if there's an opportunity to improve the team with a still young player, I'm not talking about an over the hill injury prone player. The Knicks have to look at it. Let's talk a little bit about Dyson, and then we can get into some sleeper picks and some other Nick talk. Salute, Jonathan Green. Is would Dyson be in the rotation? You know, if we get him, I know Jarrell, you think he won't even be available, and you know what? Now, when you look at the mock drafts, it depends. It's the mock drafts are still up and down, but now I'm
Yeah,
hearing
that's
between
true.
4 and 8.
Wow.
But one mock draft, CBS had Tata going to the Knicks at 11.
See,
So these
No,
drafts
sir.
are all over.
that mock draft was from like last season, probably. I
Yeah,
don't know.
please.
No, it wasn't, but I hear you.
Right. But do I think that? Yeah, I don't think Daniels is gonna reach us. But if he does, and we draft him, hey, like I'm not mad at all. Like let's get it. But
I don't see where he fits in, where he would fit in the rotate. Changes
But
have
what
to
I'm
be made.
saying is, who he has to beat out?
everybody, Stafford, you gotta think about the
Kemba?
people.
Kemba?
Everybody, like
I
IQ couldn't
mean,
be.
the only two vets on the team as far as point guard is DeRozan quickly. But at the same time, I don't know all these stats. Burks, is our best option.
I was about to say you just gonna leave off your man's, like you just gonna leave off Burks. Like he's part of the rotation too. So until we get rid of some of these players on the team, I have to think that they're still going to be there. So if it was up to me, they wouldn't be there, but they're there, and Tibbs are going to play them. So I can't. I don't think Daniels is going to get any burn either.
Shout out to D Public Enemy.
I-
It depends on which mock draft you're looking at, D Public Enemy. I've looked at about 15 or 16 of
Yeah, I
them.
got him. I
You know,
seen some top 7, top 6
yeah,
when it came
it
to
depends
Daniels.
on which one you're looking at.
Yeah,
but Jarrell, you got to understand too, bro. This kid, I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, the G League is probably a step down, right? But
But it's a step up from
it's a step
college,
up.
though.
I was just about to say that. You just took the words out of my mouth,
Oh, okay.
and you
My
played,
apologies.
and no, you good. And he played against formidable NBA players that used to play in the league. So
he did. Tibbs
what's
probably think.
what's the problem in us have him running the team, right? And to see what he got, because we gave it to Grimes. He did it one time, we gave it to a second, not Grimes, McBride.
Right.
We gave it to him. He wasn't aggressive enough. He didn't really took control like how he wanted to,
That's true.
right? You know what I mean? Quickly, just too small in my opinion, but he's still a dynamic kid. He's just made to come off the bench as a spark. So we get this kid, we start him, man.
You start him at.
See, the thing is,
Yes,
Stafford,
yes,
But
yes.
this is
that,
the
right?
argument. A lot of pundits, draft analysts, NBA analysts don't see him as a point guard right now.
Right,
Some
he's
do,
not.
some don't. Some feel like he needs another year or two before he can play the point. But he can do what Burke is doing. I feel like he can do what Burks is doing,
No,
which is
but
bringing the ball down the court and
See,
initiating the offense.
nah,
but
man,
But that vision and that
you
playmaking,
forgot.
probably, what?
Do not
we
forget the
also have
stats
him
that
come off the
Sim.
bench.
Don't
He was
forget the
top 2.
stats.
Top 2.
Don't forget the stats. I'm just talking about what Tom Thibodeau is going to. He's not going to start that boy, man.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you. If it was up to me, yes, Stafford, yes, he would start up over Burks. Tibbs is not going to start him over Burks, though. He's not going to.
I don't even see Burks in the conversation for point guard. I
See?
can't. I just can't see that. I can't see that.
I don't see it either, but Tibbs see it though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Because
I don't see that.
I think, all right, even if he don't start, right,
Mhm.
I still think he could still come off the bench alongside Quickly, and
In the
Quickly could still run off the ball and he could kind of, take charge. Let's see what he have, just like Dowdy was trying to bring
But
along McBride. Let's see him in that role,
My
but I
right?
think
question,
you have to move off of Rose if you're gonna do that. I just
exactly.
think
I
it's
was going to
just
say the
too many.
exact
It's
same
just
thing.
you're gonna have to move off.
You keep forgetting about players that Tibbs loves in these. Is when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah,
Where Rose going then?
But even if you don't play, he could still be a mentor because I think
at $14 million
$14
or
million
fifteen million
Stafford.
dollars,
He
mentor.
better lace him up. He better play, man. He making
look,
14.
And this is the thing: if you don't play Dyson at the point, now he's crowding up the wing position as well. It's the same
Exactly.
issue if you bring in Matherin. If you're
Exactly.
gonna play him, on the wing. So you think about in that second unit, you could play Rose, IQ, Dyson, Obi, and whoever the five is gonna be. But that means Burke is not
I was about to
Burks
say,
is out the rotation. Somebody's gonna have to be
right.
moved, or we're gonna draft these players and they're gonna be super situational.
Yep. That's I unfortunately I think regardless of who we draft at 11, they will be situational. And at least until like the All-Star game, until Tibbs, not slow he is when it comes to stuff like this. He needs to see them do stuff that he's never seen them do before. It's going to take a while. Even with all the tape that Dyson Daniels has in the G League, Tibbs will just stick him back to the G League. He'll do that before he just throws them in starting. If he has,
I don't think Dyson is gonna. You think Dyson would
but,
go
um,
to?
again,
yeah,
I don't know about that.
we
he's
just
going to have time
we
there.
just drafted him from the Ignite, whatever.
Doesn't
See,
matter.
now we gonna put him back in the G League again.
Our head coach do not care about none of that shit.
Jarrell, that don't make no sense, bro. And I don't think William Wesley and Leon Rose, especially, they gonna be drafting these kids. Go send them back to the G League?
Mhm.
Nah,
You
I
got
don't
to think.
think.
Well, in that case, if he's going to have minutes on his team, you have to tell me who is going to either sit down or
Correct.
you have to say who's sitting.
Who's sitting? And
Who's sitting?
remember, even Grimes, if D Rose comes back, even
Grimes not
Grimes may
playing.
go back to be situational.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You gotta think about all the injuries that we had last year. All those minutes that Grimes had would have went to Kimba if that would have actually worked out. It would have went to Rose if he wasn't healthy, if he would have stayed healthy. You gotta think about this stuff. You gotta think about what our coaching staff has done. Like the writing is almost on the wall.
Right.
Unfortunately. I wish it wasn't the case, but yeah, as long as Derrick
Let
Rose
me
is
ask you
still
that,
right.
Queen.
Say
Say
that
that
again,
again.
Scott?
Would y'all start D Rose?
I don't even know who D Rose is anymore.
Right.
Like he played 25 games or 20.
Right,
I mean,
right,
if
right,
he's
right.
healthy and he hasn't, so would I start the Rose from last season? That's basic. Not last season. I'm season the playoff season because we
Yeah,
we
before
didn't
he
we
got
didn't
hurt.
before he got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Tibbs is gonna start D Rose, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't. Oh my god! I just I just
Who
think
you think would have
No,
started
but
if we would
the
have got
only reason why I say that, right, is to make room for Dyson Daniels to come off the bench.
let's just say this. If we wouldn't have got Kimba, who would have started? Who was going to be our starting point guard, Stafford,
you think he would have stuck, but you know what?
in the beginning of the season?
Given what we saw during the season, I don't think it would have been IQ because when
Nope.
both point guards went down, IQ still didn't start.
He
So I don't
still
think
didn't
it would
start.
have been IQ. It probably would have been Burks and Rose coming
Right.
Rose
It would
coming
have
off
been
the
Burks
bench.
and Rose or vice versa.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I think we have to.
I think we just line to like it's all the stuff that we don't want to see, right?
Mhm.
It just is what it is, yo. Like Tibbs is just gonna we know who Tibbs is. Like I'm just going by what he did in the past to think about what he's going to do in the future. Like if
Right.
nothing really changes, say if the roster stays the same, if we don't get rid of anybody, he's not going to coach any different. And if he did coach differently, it wouldn't be to the point that we would be. I don't want to say happy, but it wouldn't be the same. Like he's gonna be Tibbs. Like he's not going anywhere.
Mm.
As long as Rose is on this team, he is going to play.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will play, and that's why I think the Knicks front office have their work cut out for them.
Hmm.
In terms of clearing, I'm not going to say deciding what direction they want to go in. I mean, I think they probably know what direction they want to go in. Um, and I don't think Tibbs is out there like everybody say. Oh, Tibbs is coaching to win. I think Tibbs in the front office is lockstep. I don't think why you hire Tibbs if
Right.
you're not trying to win. Why would you even hire him? You know what I
Right.
mean? So I don't think that there's any inconsistency there. Like Tibbs is just going rogue, trying to win games. I mean, that's what they hired him to do. He's a coach, you know. And if they want to go development and not win, then you need to move off of Tibbs, and they didn't do that. So,
Word.
so I think that the Knicks are, basically trying to win games.
Hmm.
Um, and that's fine. I don't think you have to choose between winning games and development. I think if you're good enough, you play and you develop as you play.
Hmm.
Right. 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 Right.
You know, is
So
any of the guys we talked about today bring anything that the Knicks don't already have? Whether that's at the wing position, whether that's at the center position, or the point guard
mm,
position.
My pick is going to be the center position. The shooting,
right.
putting back at the rim, the touch around
Right.
the rim, the finishing around the rim.
Right.
And you could throw it down there to eat a Mark or Durant. They'll get a bucket for you. So that's the what the Knicks is missing when everybody talk about the center having a perimeter game.
Right.
So
Well, even if it's not a perimeter game, just an offensive game, period.
right.
Like I don't really need, I don't need Larry Bird at the center. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It don't have to be, well, I was gonna say Brooke Lopez that all he do mostly shoots threes. Doesn't have to be that type of player, but as long as you have some type of touch around the basket and around, the foul line in, then yeah, I think that they will be either center will be better than most, the centers that we have on the roster in
What do
terms
you
of that.
what do you value in a center in terms of bringing what we don't have? Somebody that you can drop it in the post to, or somebody that can hit a 3-pointer?
Well, I'll go first. To
I
me,
mean,
it's
you can look
got to
at
be
it.
the post. I don't think that when it comes to 3-point shots, I'm not saying that I don't want. Oh, I wouldn't like my center to hit them occasionally, but
Mhm.
if we're just going to bank on our centers being one of our best 3-point shooters, then no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It just has to be like an option, maybe. But as long as you have, I would rather have somebody that can, you know, you could just drop to, like you said, around the basket and actually, do something with the ball other than just pass it back out.
Like a Valchunas. No, not Valchunas. What's his name? Is Sam Adams? Adams for
Steven
New
Adams.
Yeah,
Orleans?
Steven Adams.
Steven Adams?
Well, in
You
terms of
know,
that, both of the centers that
something
we
like
talked
him.
about
You
is
know
better
what I
than
mean?
Steven Adams when it comes to that too already.
Say that again.
I say in terms of that, what you're talking about when it comes to Steven Adams, the two centers that we're talking about is better than him at that too.
Right.
It's just the other stuff that they have to.
No, but Steven Adams could occasionally pop out and hit. I mean, I'm not saying Steven Adams is a world shooter,
Yeah, I know what you
but
mean. Yeah,
he steps out when he's ready and he can hit that shot when you want him to.
yeah, he's
You know,
capable of it. Yeah, I
right?
understand. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I
I
get
would
that.
like somebody that could stretch the floor a little bit. I just don't see us. I don't see the NBA being that type of game anymore, where you're dropping it in to the post and having guys operate in the post. Like Embiid does that.
Hmm.
Who else does that? Like plays with their back to the
Well,
basket.
yeah, the superstars do. Like even the Joker, he does it too. But I can't. The two players that we named are superstars, so I don't put them. They
Right.
do it better than every center in the league at
Right.
everything. So I don't even count them too. But yeah, in terms of being able to hit the outside shot, like I said, Mark Williams is working on threes. He's hitting them consistently in workouts. So
Yeah.
that will be something that both centers will have to develop down the line because neither one of them are
You
like
can do it now.
proficient in it yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
And I'm not saying that I need them to be like Turner, Miles Turner, and just,
Right, right, right.
popping up and hitting, three threes a game or four threes a game.
Hmm.
But to be able to stretch the floor a little bit,
Yeah,
you definitely become a weapon. And being able to operate in the post, I guess I just don't see an offense where we're gonna be posting up people, dumping it down to them, and
yeah, that's
have
true.
them operate with their back to the basket. But if you flash across the key and we pass it to you and you in the key, I would like you to be able to hit a jump shot.
Right.
If you get a rebound, I would like you to be able to turn over each shoulder,
Hmm.
either shoulder, and be able to put it up.
And that's
Um,
one thing, or those are two things that Jalen
Jalen.
Curran is already
Mm-hmm.
capable of doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All of
right.
that.
Yeah.
Mark
So
Williams will have to develop some of that stuff around the basket more than Jalen Duran has.
right.
Like he has it.
So they'll bring something we don't have, just in terms of just being
Yeah.
able to score around the basket other than a dunk.
Now,
So
in terms of the wings, though, in terms of the wings, no, it's not a single wing in this draft that we already have a team full of wing players. Nothing that any of the wings have in the draft is something that one of our wings can't do. I don't think,
well,
especially if we got Cam over there, because Cam is too talented to. Like if Cam was in this draft, he'd be a top 5 pick in
right,
terms of talent. That's what I mean.
right. Well, this is what I'll say though. I think, and somebody in the chat said that they think that Johnny Davis is just another Grimes. But
Nah,
as
I
much as
don't
I
think you
like
say like that.
Grimes, Johnny Johnny Davis is not as good a 3-point shooter as Grimes is right now. And it could be that he took that, whatever. To me, he's just not as good a 3-point shooter, but
Yeah,
he
you're
could
not.
put the ball on the floor and he can get into the key for the mid range. And that's just something Grimes can't do. So I don't really
Yep.
see them as the same type of player. So I think Davis brings another mid range shooter, but we have that, like you said, in RJ. Um, Matherin, this is what I this is just going on seeing him in interviews and
Hmm.
things like that. I know nothing about this kid.
Okay.
But remember we talked about having a ceiling and the potential to reach that ceiling?
Yeah. I already know
Cam
what you're
may
gonna say.
Cam may be more talented.
I told you he'd be in trouble if we drafted Ben. I'm telling you, Cam would be in trouble. I get it. I already know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
This guy, when you hear him talk,
Hmm.
he has a lot of confidence and a lot of dog in him, you
Yep.
know. And again, you don't know who's going to reach their ceiling or not. You just look for little signs of, who has the potential to reach their ceiling.
Hmm. Yep. I agree. I think
Yeah.
Cam will be in trouble. I think if Ben Mathurin slides down to 11, because that's one player I don't really think we have a chance of getting either, to be honest. But I just like him, and I think we have a better
Somebody's going to slide to the Knicks now.
right. I think he has a better chance.
Somebody.
I think he has a better chance to slide to us than Daniels at this point, just by how
Mm,
everybody's talking about him now. So
right.
that's why I keep bringing Ben Mathurin up. Like if he's on the board while we're there, I want to draft him. I don't care who else is on the. If either one of the centers is on the board, I will still pick Ben first, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I
you
agree.
know the funny thing. You know the funny thing. The census is that um the Knicks will pick Johnny Davis for some reason. Besides all the drafts that we look at and all the mocks, the sense is that we're going to pick Johnny Davis.
Are you okay with that?
I mean,
Yes and no for me. Like Mm.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with it. You know what I mean? So
Wow. What's
Like
the issue? What's the issue with John? You don't see a lot of upside, or is it the
if we
3-point shooting?
say we draft Johnny Davis, right? Where he playing? Where and when is he playing? And over who?
All right, well, let me play devil's advocate. We was talking about Mathurin possibly beating out Cam, possibly beating out Grimes, but you don't think
Mhm.
Johnny Davis plays the same position would be able to?
Mm, just because of Grimes' 3-point shooting. Say if their defense was equal, because we already know that Grimes is a capable defender. I'm not trying to put, say that he's locked down or anybody on our team is locked down yet.
Right,
So say
right,
he's
right,
a
right.
capable defender, right? And say if Johnny Davis is a capable defender. If RJ is on the, unless you have, maybe if RJ is on the bench, like if Johnny Davis is on the floor, if he's not the best 3-point shooter, I don't want him on the floor. That's what Grimes is good for. Like say if Grimes didn't shoot the three well, I wouldn't want him on the floor either.
Yeah. And I think that's when we talk about what do these draft picks bring that we don't already have.
Hmm.
Mathurin brings the
Right.
3-point shooting.
So when it
Um,
comes to Davis, like I understand that he has a better mid range than Grimes and he can get his own shot better than Grimes. But other than that, I'm not exactly sure what he's better than Grimes in.
I mean his defense. I mean we could put his defense up there with Grimes too.
yeah.
Well, better though.
He's
I'm saying
capable. No, I'll put the same word that you just said.
capable.
Capable.
Right. Right. Right.
Let's say capable. You know what I mean? So that's where I think it might be, a little dicey right there. But as far as the 3-point shot, as you said, yeah, I don't see him beating out Grimes to that spot because you're gonna have to be able to stretch the floor. The mid range, I mean, what's his name out of Chicago? Yes, his mid range is deadly,
Hmm.
but I don't think Johnny Davis is deadly like him, like
No. No.
the
Not not
moment.
not DeRozan
Right?
deadly. No way.
And you're gonna need to stretch the floor. You're gonna need to hit that three. So um
It, it,
Harlem girl, I'm not sleeping on him, but
and
I'm
I'm not
just not
sleeping
eyeing
on
him.
him. But if you say
I'm just not eyeing him.
I'm just saying, if we have Johnny Davis, right? Evan Fournier ain't giving up minutes to Johnny Davis.
Damn, you don't think
No way. Nope.
okay, so
You know,
you're not high.
Nah, he's not.
I
I hate
go
to say
back to
it.
the same tournament. You show up during the regular season, but when it came to the big game, you didn't show up. You know what I mean? You was beating all these other teams when they was throwing their defense at you. I was looking for you to show out in that tournament, and it was a big dud. I think you probably showed out in the last 2-3 minutes in garbage time. So I mean, that right there had turned me off. Regular season was all good. You put up all these numbers and but I think when it had counted for me, you ain't show up. So that put a dent in my scouting with
Okay.
Davis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with Johnny Davis. I see him as a high floor guy. I'm not
Hmm.
sure about how high a ceiling he has, but the 3-point shot is the swing shot for him. That's a swing
Right.
factor for him. If he's able to develop it, now you have a 3-level scorer who plays good defense.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know, but I'll say I could see how the first year or so, if he doesn't improve his 3-point shooting, it'll be rough,
Yep.
right? 30%, that means you're not stretching the floor. If Randall is back, if Mitch is back, so now you got to get your shots in the key. We got
Right.
RJ getting his shots in the key. We got Mitch in the key because that's where he could shoot. We got Randall in the short mid range. I would like the Knicks to get some players that can stretch the floor. And Daniels also is somebody who has to improve his 3-point shooting. But I get it. He brings
Right.
other things that we need in terms of secondary playmaking and things of that, you
Yep.
know,
He
of
does
that
stuff
sort.
that Davis doesn't do well.
Right. But
Right.
but he needs to improve his 3-point shooting well. I would really like some efficient shooters on the Knicks.
That's why when we keep bringing like players up like Daniels and Davis, neither one
Yeah.
of them are that player
Yeah.
yet. At least
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least not yet. I'm kind of shaky on Davis when it comes to that. Daniels might could get there, but Davis, I don't know. That remains to be seen. But it's don't get me wrong. If we do draft him, I'm not gonna hate on the kid or anything like that. If we draft him, cool, let's rock out. But I
Right.
don't see us drafting him with the players that we have on the team. I don't see the point of it. Like not with the type of offense that we play. Like
I saw,
I'm not just going when it comes to these prospects. I'm not just going by what they do well or not well.
Hmm.
You have to think about what they're going to do for the Knicks. Like Johnny Davis is going to play a completely different game on somebody else's team than us. Like the
Right.
way we
Right.
like to play our two guards. Like you see how where Evan Fournier was.
Yeah.
If you replace Johnny Davis with Evan Fournier, he's not going to hit those shots like that.
no,
No.
mm-mm,
No. 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 No.
He's
No.
not
No.
going to. So
Yeah.
when people
no.
think that he's just going to come in and break the Knicks 3-point record, that's not going to happen. Johnny Davis has to
No.
get his points other ways. You know
Boy,
what I'm
you
saying?
see,
He has to get his points other
that's
ways, and those other ways are kind of like what RJ has to do. So if you have those two players doing the exact same thing, that's not going to work.
Okay.
but
Anybody else you would be surprised if the Knicks salute nice if the Knicks took? I mean, we're talking about our small group of 3, 4, 5 players, but
Oh,
listen, they
surprise!
took Grimes last year, right?
Right, right, right,
Right.
right.
So the Knicks, this is what I think gonna happen. I wouldn't be surprised, I should say. Two of the players we talk about is still on the board, and the Knicks take somebody totally different or trade down, or trade down and take somebody else. What do you think if the Knicks were to draft um Abaji? If the Knicks were to draft Sohan? A lot of draft pundits have Sohan right here going in the top 10. Some of them have him 11, 12. The thing with Sohan for me is
That shot.
he's all defense. He could shoot. I mean, listen, his 3-point shooting is not that much off from Johnny Davis. Johnny Davis was 30.6%. He was 29.6%.
Right.
Um,
What do we need him for? I don't understand.
29.6%. And you're right, he plays small forward, power
Right.
forward, but he's a defensive specialist. But you're right.
Mm-hmm.
If his offense comes around, you got a special player now. You really got a
Right. That's true.
two-way gem. But
That's true.
that's a lot that you're banking on.
You know one thing though, it's not that I have a problem with, but I don't know when it comes to defensive specialists in college. That don't mean that's
Yeah.
going to translate to the NBA. It not only does I don't want to say it rarely does, but it don't happen that often. There's a lot of defensive specialists and defensive players of the year in college basketball that do anything for the NBA. So I want to project him as an NBA player. So no, I don't want him in 11.
Yeah, I think that's too early as well.
Right, it's just too early. Like if we slid down and drafted him, yeah. But I think there will be other players on the board still there for us to pick him. I think it would be kind of weird, to
Yeah.
be honest, at this point.
Okay. What about Abaji? Do you like him over Johnny Davis?
Yeah, but
um,
Abaji will see at least he'll hit that shot more than Johnny Davis would. And
yeah,
he played defense also. He's a little older. He's more seasoned than Johnny Davis. He's more seasoned than damn near everybody that we talked about because he's a little older. I think he was either a junior or senior this year, I think.
I think he played 4 years.
Yeah, so if he is senior, yeah, he's more seasoned, and that Tibbs would like stuff like that. But would I think he get any burns over Grimes too? No, I don't. Like if we picked him at 11, I don't see where he plays either.
Wow. What about AJ Griffin?
AJ Griffith is like he can shoot.
He can
He
shoot.
can't play defense. Tibbs not drafting him. Period. I think he's one of the worst defenders in the draft. So I don't think he's going to like if he goes, he's not going to us. I'm not saying he won't get drafted high, but Tibbs not drafting him.
Jarrell, you watch a lot of North Carolina basketball, right?
Yes, I'm a fan. Every game.
What what is the name of that center that was shooting like Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, you talk about the white guy with the beard, redhead chick.
Yes.
Uh,
This
Yes.
season?
yeah, this season he's second round, no athleticism. He get killed in the league when it comes to his defense, but he can shoot.
Um, I would take him at 42.
I can see that, but there are other bigs that can, that can shoot as well at 42. But yeah, he should slide somewhere into, round two. Like, he's not a first round pick.
Either him or the other dude with the mustache. I like what's his name? Tammy.
Oh, from Gonzaga.
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, they're both second round picks. They big white dudes, so obviously they are not athletic. Stereotypical stuff like they're good around the basket, touch, shooting, but they're not good defenders. They're not good athletically, and they will be specialists in the league. They would be like
a marketing.
right. There will be people like that. Brian Scalabrine. Maybe what I'm saying. They'll be in the league for like
That's a
12
blast
seasons.
from the past.
That's what I'm saying. But Brian Scalabrine was in the league for like 10 years. Like, they're not going to be superstars, but they'll be in the league on the bench, on somebody's bench for like 10, 12 years. Easy.
Any
Or
sleeper picks?
Sleeper
Well,
pick.
no, before the sleeper pick.
Okay.
Anybody realistic now that you would like the Knicks to trade up for, that you think is out of the Knicks range, that you wouldn't mind trading up for? And who would you be willing?
Jabari.
You would trade
Number
all the way
one,
up to
Sass.
the top?
Like, we can't
Well,
do
who
that.
you willing to give up for
Listen,
Jabari?
You asked me a question.
I'm going to answer it, right?
Who you willing to give up? That's the second part of the
I'm
question.
about to say, what you giving up, bro?
Well, I mean, Randall will have to go.
Wow.
Randall
Wait,
will have
hold
to
on.
go.
Hold on a second. Stafford.
You
Don.
must really like Jabari
Like, what
because I know you a
happened?
Randall fan.
That's your man.
Randall will have to go. Who picking number 2?
Orlando.
Okay, isn't OKC?
Yeah,
Orlando is
OKC.
first. OKC
Orlando's
and then
first.
Houston.
OKC.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sending him right to OKC.
I don't know if they're gonna listen.
Right.
I'll put it this
They
way.
don't want Randall.
I think Randall doesn't fit their timeline. You would have to give up some young players for
Right.
Jabari Smith, and I have no
And
problems.
mad first round picks. Wait,
Nah, you can't give up two. I mean, he just a first
Listen.
round pick itself.
Steph,
Cam is a first round pick.
We're moving
I'm
11
giving Cam.
to
Cam is a
second.
first round pick.
I
I'm
don't
giving
even
up the
think that's
Dallas
ever been
pick.
done before.
Wow,
The Dallas.
you giving up
the Da-
Randall, Cam, and the Dallas pick?
You tell me I gotta give up some young players and a first round, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah, I don't think Randall would fit with OKC or Houston.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. We
listen,
don't fit the timelines.
yeah. Listen, you asked me a question. That's who I was.
Hey,
And
that's
that's
it.
what I was.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
You think Jabari would start over Obi or back him up?
Boy, that was. I think we were starting, man. We was.
See,
We
I
gonna
would
stick the number 2 pick on the bench? Nah, you would have to start.
You forgot Tibbs was your coach. Again, you forgot
listen,
Tibbs was your coach.
Like
Tibbs
you
don't care
forget
about
who.
nothing like that.
Yes, Tibbs is the coach, but who's running the organization?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, then. So you
But
know,
honestly,
if Tibbs want to lose his job, you better listen. So you have the number 2 pick on the bench and not playing them, you must be mine.
Well, I
You
think
got
he would
to
play. I think he would play. I think
He would
this
definitely
is just
play.
hypothetical. Do you think he would play ahead of Obi or behind him?
I think he'll
He
play
would
ahead of
definitely
Obi. Yeah, I
At
think he'll
first.
definitely play ahead of Obi.
At first, Obi starting, but then Tibbs
As
sees
time goes
Jabari is a
on.
better player, then he'll probably play him.
Yep.
Yeah.
For me is Jaden Ivey. I
You
think
would
that's
trade
the
up for
only
Ivy.
player.
And who you giving up?
Name somebody other than RJ. When it comes to Ivy, just name anybody other than RJ, and they're put a stamp right on their forehead, and they can go to their team.
You don't have any. And would you play Ivy at point guard or shooting guard? You see him as a point guard or a shooting guard?
I could either way. I'm not saying that he is a point guard though,
Okay.
but will I play him at the point? Yeah, especially on this team. Why not? We started Burks for what 60 games. You think I can't get away with Jaden Ivey at point guard? Yeah, I'm starting him at the one or the. Well, I would probably be point guard because I want Evan Fournier on the floor just for his shooting.
This is the only thing about Ivy playing point guard is the same issues we talk. Not everybody talk about with IQ, which is his shot selection and his
Hmm.
decision making, and his ability to run an NBA offense.
Hmm.
Which is why I see him as a two, maybe the second year, similar to Dyson,
Hmm.
second year. But I think Dyson is a little closer to being a point guard, to playing a point guard position than Ivy. But maybe year two or year three, moving over to that position. I mean, I think we want to put him there at the one because of his size,
Hmm.
that he's 6'4". But there's been undersized two guards in the league who,
That's
who's
true.
done well. You know,
I
Yes,
um,
like
I think Donovan is just what 6 foot or
six
six
one.
1
6'1".
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason I will put him at the one. I'm not saying he's going to be a one starting off. Just like Daniels, I don't think he should be a starting point guard either. Not right off the gate. But they do have flashes. They're capable of it. It's the same thing of like if you're capable of doing it. Like Jaden Ivey, he's capable of playing point guard, but is he a point guard? No.
Hmm.
Like I'm not gonna argue that now. He's not.
Hmm.
He's not the stereotypical traditional point guard. No. But will I play him at that? Yeah. Like he
But
can. I'm not giving him the keys per se, but yeah, I'll put him at the one.
but do you think that responsibility of initiating the offense will take away from him just his first year, just being able to come in and just
It
play
can
his
be,
game?
but say if he does play for us, though, say we do draft him, we have RJ to take away from a little bit of that too, when it comes to the playmaking and running the offense through. Whether we want to or not, RJ could
Hmm.
be the facilitator at one point.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly, Angel. If Burks could play the point, I can't sit here and responsibly say Jaden Ivey can't play the point guard. That's what I'm saying. Like we had Burks starting for the majority of the season. So I'm
Ooh.
not
But we
sitting
trying to
here.
improve. We
Right.
trying to improve and get better and get better.
That's true. That's true. We're trying to improve. But yeah, to answer your question, I think he's capable of it. But, going forward, like after maybe his rookie season, maybe year two, he developed more into the, point guard and running the team. But we got RJ for stuff like that. Unfortunately, we still have Julius Randle. We will have the offense will run through him also.
We can't. We can't. Gerald, please don't give me a headache.
I'm just
And
saying,
I'm a Randall fan. I want him on the team, but
it
we
is.
gotta
Hey,
shrink that role. We gotta shrink that role.
if
I
he,
think it'll help him too. Listen, we went over this. I can't
yeah,
tell you how many times. Um, Sherwin Sherwin. You are so funny. He's the height official. Everybody is 2 inches
yeah.
shorter. Ivy is
Ivy
not
is
six
not
four.
6'4".
He said Ivy can't go. He can go to his left, man. Like, yeah, Ivy is I think he was measured. I think he was 6'4". Like that's his height.
But I
Oh
don't know if I
boy.
would, if we're gonna play him at the point. Would you start him at the point, or would you bring him off? I would feel more comfortable bringing him off the bench. I can't see him in there with
Well,
that
yeah,
starting lineup
yeah. Rookie season
at the
game one,
point
no.
position.
Yeah, like honestly, rookie season game one, he shouldn't start at all. Probably, he should probably come off to the bench. It's not that many rookies that's going to be in the starting five when game
I,
one.
dis-
I
I
don't think that
disagree,
should be.
man.
You just throwing them to the wolves, huh, Steph? Like you just
I
put them game one.
disagree because I don't see the first 3 or 4 picks sitting on the bench.
But we're not
I
saying
don't.
not playing. We're not saying
We're not
not
saying not
playing
playing. We're saying
in the
not starting.
rotation. But you're saying
Oh,
that you
okay.
don't see them not
Right.
starting. I mean, you don't see them. They must start.
I think they gotta start, man. I don't see which top 3 pick wasn't starting unless they trash
I'm saying
and they definitely had to hit that pine. Fine.
we have
But these guys is talented. The top 3 is talented, and I don't look. as much as Tibbs and his ways and all of that, I don't think Leon Rose and especially West gonna stand for talent that's on the bench and not playing. And then you know how these Knicks fans get too. They're
Right.
gonna be like, yo, how y'all have this top 3 pick or whatever pick on the bench and not playing them?
They're gonna
Yo,
play. Stop it. Nobody's saying that they not.
Yeah,
They're
we just
gonna
talk
be
about
in the.
yeah,
game
We
one.
talk about starting.
I just think they gotta start. I just think they gotta start. That's just my opinion. That's just me.
Even
I
if they
don't.
even if you bring them in the training camp and they're not better than who you have, they should just start. Just because
Boy,
they were
I
number
mean, now,
one
but
on.
I mean, now you throwing a different dynamic into it.
Just start them just because, even if you're not beating out the person in front of you.
I'm thinking no, but I'm thinking they blazing it in training camp.
Oh, that's
So
different. If that's
right,
different,
and
if
so
you
yeah,
earning
so
it, yes.
if they earn the start at the start of the season and preseason, and they show out, look, let them start.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know about Griffin being the best defender in this draft class. If he is,
What? No, sir.
What?
I
that's not
completely
AJ
disagree.
that's
Griffin?
not
No
that's not
way.
what the draft analysis is saying.
No.
Whether you reading it, they when they talk about what he needs to work on, that's the
His
one thing they talk
defense.
about is his defense. He has the defensive tools, but just doing it, putting it together, and also his defensive awareness has to improve it all. But listen, all of these guys coming out of college going to have something that they need to work on. And
That's
those that are able to do it are going to reach their ceiling, and those who aren't able to do it are either going to be out the league or they're going to be middle tier guys. Everybody, nobody is coming in a finished product. That's even at the top of the draft. Jabari Smith, you banking on him being able to tighten up his ball handling and be able to get in the key for the pull
yep.
up. You
That's true.
banking on Chet staying healthy and getting stronger and being able to play center at some
Well,
point.
don't you think he gonna survive?
Yeah, you banking on Ivy being able learning how to play the point guard position and being a better distributor and a better shooter. Now, a lot of times you compare Ivy to Ja, but what I'll say about
Right.
this, Ja came into the league with vision and playmaking. It
Yeah.
wasn't just his
He was a point guard.
he couldn't shoot. He had issues shooting, but in terms of his vision and being able to find people, that's something that
Mhm.
Ivy at this
Yep.
point doesn't have, at least not on that level. If I was to trade up for somebody, I would trade up for Jabari Smith as well. Um,
Y'all both like Jabari Smith that well,
I
huh?
really like
What,
Jabari Smith, and you know what it
I
is?
got a question for y'all though.
hmm
What if that shot don't fall?
Nah, you saw that shot?
I
Nah,
know it's smooth.
that's like right. That's like
I ain't
right
gonna
the
lie, it
bank,
is
baby.
smooth.
That shot.
If that shot don't, if it don't fall like it fell in college, you think he's worth like top 3, #1 pick in the draft? That's what I mean.
Fat chance that it doesn't fall.
It
Fat
is
chance.
smooth. I can't argue that. This jumper is nice. I'm not
That's
gonna lie.
that's gonna translate.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about him. No matter what, if he doesn't develop anything else, he can shoot the ball and he could defend multiple positions. If nothing else happens,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and
And Queen just got to put on just a little more muscle,
just
not
a
too heavy. Just put
just
in a little more
So,
muscle.
so if we're going to talk about that, okay, what's the downfall of Chet then? Why if Chet could just put
Boy,
on a little
you know
more
what?
muscle?
That's another stop for me, you know. Another
No.
Kristaps for me.
No.
That is another Kristaps for me.
You think so?
Yes,
Chris
yes.
is
I'm
talented
about to
though.
say
The
Chris
issue
Stapps
with
was
him,
nice though.
the issue with with Porzingis was just the injury history. But in terms of
Yeah.
his game, his ability to shoot, the ability to
And
put the ball on the
and
No,
think
and
floor, block
listen,
about
and
shots.
Chess has all of that too, you know. But the brother, I don't know that they're gonna beat him up. They're gonna
but
beat him
here's
up.
the thing though.
They
In
they
college,
they're gonna kill him.
let's just say this. We was talk about Jalen Duran, right?
Mhm.
He couldn't score against Chet when they went up 1-on-1 just because of Chet's length. And for some reason, I'm not saying this is normal, but Jalen Duran couldn't outmuscle Chet. And he got him by like 50 pounds.
he's strong. I
He's
mean, when you
strong for
hear
his size. Like he's
right,
just light, but he's very, very strong for what
and
he looks
and
like.
he'll put on weight. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll put on weight.
I
My
just feel
thing with
like
with the Steph with that
his
weight
shoulders
though,
is like, you know,
yeah, that
and
doesn't mean nothing though. Stafford, like if he doesn't have any type of injury history either. My thing is if he does put on weight, would that start the injury history rolling? What comes, come to
Mm,
big men and they
like
feet and stuff,
get into to
right?
heavy.
So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want Chet to put on a whole bunch of weight because up until now, knock on wood, he has zero injury history at all. Like
he
he's never been hurt.
he remind me of a Rick Smith's or Murison from the Washington Wizards back in the day.
George
Nah,
Um,
Nick.
nah,
just
he
don't.
much more talented and skilled. He much more talented and skilled than
George
that. Are you
Miller.
kidding?
That's funny. Hey man, it's just because of the height.
Nah.
It's just because he's tall and skinny. But yeah, he got game though. I like Chet.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got
I
game.
don't
First,
know, man. I'm not very. I mean, very talented. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I just think he gonna suffer a lot of injuries, man. That's just my opinion. I just
we'll
for
see.
for 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 tall guys like that, the knees after the years of pounding and 82 games and how many seasons, I don't think his knees gonna hold up, man.
Right.
That's just the thing with tall guys when it comes in this league, man. The knees.
That's true.
And that's what I'm worried about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do. I know y'all like him. You know what I mean? As I said, talented. He's gonna go in the top three, but
You're not trading
I'm
up
not.
for him.
Nah.
All right.
Mm-mm.
So we would trade up for Ivy and trade up for Jabari. No, nobody would trade up for Benchero.
Paulo.
Honestly,
Nah.
we the Knicks. So honestly, I'd trade up for all four of them. Like I'd trade up for any one of them. Like any
Nah,
one
bro.
of them
I'm
could be a
taking
starter.
dude from Iowa over Ches though.
Who?
What's
Keegan
his name?
Murray. You
Keegan
like
Murray,
Murray
of
more than Chet?
course. They sure right. I'm
I'm not
taking
a big
him.
fan of Murray. I don't think he's. I don't know. Not. I'm not. I was never the biggest fan of his. Maybe I'm just
And that's
biased.
and that's
Of who?
another power
Who's
forward
that?
too.
Um,
Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray from Iowa.
6'8". He could stroke it though.
He's
We need some
versatile. Yeah.
shooters. We need some shooters on this team now. I don't. I wouldn't have a problem with Keegan Murray. I just don't expect too much though. But
Yeah. I don't see
he could
that. Like
shoot though.
him as the ceiling. His ceiling. I don't see. I don't know. Compared to the players that we're talking about, I think they just have bigger ceilings. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, they do. But if he does what he does well, you know,
I
uh,
mean, but Jarrell, you say that right, but he's in the top five. The other players that we talking about is from seven and up,
Yeah.
bro.
He just ain't in my top five. I'm not picking him in top five. Nah. Not a big fan of his, man.
I mean,
All
I
them other
think it's that you know what you're gonna get with him.
right.
You
That's what I'm
know what
saying.
you're gonna get.
When we talk
You know,
about ceilings and floors and stuff, like he's closer to his floor than ceiling to me. Like I don't see double machine coming out of college in the NBA for him. I just don't see it.
Mm.
Hopefully
double
he does well though, but I just don't see it. Not no double. Like he's gonna be playing the power forward. I don't see him doing that.
right. Shout out to It's Me who makes a good point about Ivy. When you think about Westbrook, when he came out and shout out to Harlem Girl who made this point too. When Westbrook came out of UCLA,
He
nobody was
wasn't point
thinking
guard
he
either.
would be a point guard either.
He
Wall,
wasn't.
all of these guys were just fast guys that could get to the basket and had to develop their playmaking
Right.
skills
Well,
down the line. So
Wall was a point guard. So,
mhm,
but I see what Westbrook didn't even play point guard at UCLA. I don't think he played the two. I think they had another kid. They had
right.
somebody else playing the point. I believe at the one year or two that Russ was there. So I could see that. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, so yeah, I get it. They do take um, guys who don't really have playmaking skills and will play them at that position because of um, other things.
Right.
Um, all right. Anybody you would that you like who is not within the Knicks range that you would trade down for?
It's a couple guys I was looking. They're both guards. One is a point guard. One is a two guard. Like if we trade down, maybe in like late 20s. I mean, or even if we say we take the 42 pick and trade back up into the first round.
Mhm.
One is Bryce McGowan's from Nebraska. Two guards, 6'7", can handle the ball, can shoot. But he's pretty much just a. I know we all like players that plays multiple positions. He's the type of person that they let him do a lot of playmaking, but he's not a point guard either. He's strictly, to me, a two guard.
Okay.
So I could see that if we did either trade down or trading up, if we do with a wing or a two that can shoot, because he can shoot, he can create his own shot, um, plays defense. I like Bryce McGowan out of Nebraska. The point guard that I like, his name is Ryan Reynolds.
Hmm.
Point guard out of Toledo. He's long. I think he measured in like 6'3", but he got like a 6'9" to 6'10" wingspanish. He played defense, can handle the ball, get his own shot. He can create, but that's just he's not going to be picked like in the top 15. That he's going to either be picked in the bottom half of the first round or the second round. But he's definitely going to be drafted though. So those are the two, two guards that I like at the end of the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Knicks would pick this player because we have somebody on the team similar. But I don't understand all of the hate for Tata though. I just don't. I just don't get it. Like if you want to say why draft him because quickly is close to him, and so it's a little bit of duplication. Though I think his playmaking is a bit ahead of um quickly. If you want to say
Mhm.
that, fine.
It
But
is.
I just don't get the oh, he can't separate. I'm sure when quickly was coming out, I would have to go back and read it. I'm pretty sure they said that about him too, that he had difficulty
Hmm.
separating. So, and then also, with the Kentucky guys, which pretty much happened with IQ as well, they tend to do better in the NBA than they do in college. And he was injured. So again, I don't think the Knicks are going to take him. I think, quickly it's close, though I do like we said he had better playmaking, but
Hmm.
I don't get why Knick fans are so down on him. So Jarrell, help me understand.
I think it's a floor to ceiling type thing too. Ty
Okay.
Washington, I don't know. He doesn't get a lot of elevation on his jumper. Um, he could be turnover prone at times.
Hmm.
His defense could be lacking at times. He could be a bit slow when it comes to the first step and stuff like that. I think they talk about like intangible stuff, not the fact that I don't know. He has playmaking. He's obviously a point guard. I think he actually broke the. Didn't he break like the single game assist record at Kentucky? I believe so. I
So
think if he didn't, it was definitely close. It was like in one game he got like it was either 15 to 17 or 18 assists in one game. But that was just one game, and he's a lot of up and down, and plus he got hurt this season, so we really couldn't see exactly what he can do.
That hurting really helped
Yeah,
him.
he
The
got
Public
hurt, so
Enemy is IQ a starting point guard?
right.
Do you think IQ is a starting point guard?
Because if that's the case, we shouldn't be drafting a point guard. Period in this draft. If the caveat has to be he has to be a starting point guard after out the gate. Ain't no starting point guards. I don't
Out the
think there's
gate in this
out the
draft,
gate
other
in the
than
draft.
Ivy, and
Yeah,
Ivy is not a traditional
exactly.
point guard
Right.
as well.
But yeah.
Any sleepers?
um my two sleepers is give me any one of those two guys from UCLA.
Oh,
Um
um,
You know what I'm talking about, right? I
No.
forgot his
It's
name.
actually like three dudes coming out of UCLA too, because I think another one is
Not the point guard, not the dreadlocks, not the one with the big Congo, not him.
no, not him. No, no. He nice though.
But this but the
Um,
small forwards though, the small forward, and I think it was another one is a power forward.
it's like two small like this thing. They're all
I
wings
think
in
that,
the
yeah,
NBA,
right, exactly.
right? So
Give me any one of those two because they could shoot the
right.
ball, they could create. Um, the only thing with them is I think they should get more better on the defense, more defense awareness.
Hmm.
But at pick 42, yeah, I could pick one of them and have them come off the bench or develop them. However,
I would like what's his name? The Philippine, is it Soto? What's his
Yeah,
name?
Kai
Yeah,
Soto.
I don't think
He can shoot,
now. I don't even think he's gonna last to 42 the way it's going.
which is weird because it's not like he just came out of nowhere. He was in the G League last year. He was at G League Ignite when Jalen Green was
Hmm.
on the team last year, but then instead of going into the draft, he just went into the Euro League. That's all. So a lot of people know him. So if they want to draft him, like I don't think he's going to get to 42. I think a lot of people didn't know about him, but like NBA GMs know exactly who he is. He was in the G League already.
Hmm.
A lot of people just, I guess, didn't pay attention to him because of the other players that was on that Ignite team last year.
Right.
And that's the reason he didn't get into the draft in the first place. Like he could have gotten to the draft, but he didn't. He needed to work on his game. It's still the same thing, but
Hmm.
he not no sleeper. Let's just say that. Not for GMs.
No, he's not. And D Bubble Enemy, if you think IQ is a point guard, then Ty Ty can be a point guard.
Right.
When IQ came out of Kentucky, it was similar questions. So if IQ can develop into a starting point guard, Ty Ty can develop into a starting point guard.
Did you guys do any research on the other Nikolai Jovic kid yet?
I have not.
Man, he like a 7 foot two guard, and can play the three. Not bad. He's a young kid. He's definitely could be like a stash and grab. Like I could see that for the Knicks if we did trade down, especially since the roster that we have and the coach that we have. Say we traded down and picked him, and he, you know, go back to overseas for a couple years or two.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
could see that happening too.
What about now? This you guys may not have gotten into this. Well, even before I get to Baldwin, what about the other G League guy, Hardy? Would you trade down for
Jaden
him?
Hardy.
Jaden Hardy.
Jaden Hardy. You know what? I like him too, but I think he's going to be I think he's going to be a lottery pick. I think he might go right after us around the 12 to 14 area or even 15. I think people are really high on him too. He has a good
Yeah.
outside shot. Um,
He
I think
another
he
tweener too, though.
say that again.
He's another tweener as well, though. That's like a shooting
Mhm.
guard that you want to play point, but he's not a point guard.
Right, exactly,
Right. So
exactly.
it
Right.
all depends on. I think it depends on who drafts him in the system that he could either be a good player or not. Like
Actually, he's right after Daniels. To
okay,
tell you the truth,
he does
Um,
have game though. I do like him.
it
yeah.
depends. It depends on the mock draft that you're looking at. Now,
Hmm.
this one, CBS just have Tata at 9,
Hmm.
9, Baji at 13.
So who do they have falling if Ty Ty's all the way at 9? Like I haven't seen Ty Ty that high in a
I
lot of
haven't either.
drafts. It's
Let me
weird.
move on to another one. But that I think that
Yeah, CVS might be good, but just for like the football mock drafts. I don't know if they'll be able.
yeah, they have Hardy at 22.
Sounds around right. Like maybe outside of the lottery, like maybe like 14 to mid 20s. That makes sense. But like Stapper said, somebody could love him right after us, like right at the end of the lottery. We're at the end of the lottery, so
Right.
Makes sense. He
And
can
we
go
have
anywhere.
and we have assets. If there's somebody, listen, the Knicks have to think about salary,
Hmm.
right? They have to think about um, how they're gonna pay, all of these guys. If we bring in two more, I just can't see the Knicks bringing in two more draft picks. We are young as it is. We got about 8 players under 24,
Right.
and then you're gonna bring in two more guys.
I
I
don't see
just
what
don't
they're
see it.
playing. I
I
don't
just
get
don't
it.
see it. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Unless they get rid of somebody on this roster, but the way the roster is now, I can't look at it any other way. Anybody that we're drafted, they're not playing yet. I mean, some stuff has to happen. I have to see it. Like free agency is after the draft, unfortunately. So we don't know. This whole team could look completely different after free agency.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Um, Bleacher Report has the Knicks taking Branham out of
Brandon,
Ohio State.
see, I'm not
What?
really big on him either. Like,
At 11?
yeah, I know a lot of people that are big on him, but I don't see how he cracks this rotation either.
What
Like, I
position
don't
does
get
he
it.
play?
The 2, 3,
To
Two,
same.
three.
This is a
they're
wing
all the
heavy
same.
draft. But listen to this. This is how the Knicks could, if Sohan, Doran, or nobody else cracks the top 10,
Hmm.
all 10 players that we like,
Yeah, they gone.
what they're going. Let
Yeah,
me read the top 10.
they gone.
Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren,
Hmm.
Banchero, Ivy, Murray, AJ Griffin, Mathurin, Dyson, Johnny Davis, and Shaden Sharp. In any order. In any
Right.
order. All of them could be off the board
Yep.
before the Knicks pick at 11. If
Right.
Sohan doesn't if Sohan goes top 10, one of them will drop. If Doran goes top 10, one of them will drop. But if none of those guys go in the top 10,
Right.
the Knicks have to pick the Sohan, Doran,
See, but then,
Bonham, those type of players.
so if that's the case,
Abaji.
then my pick will be Williams. Then, if all those
You know
people you
what?
said,
Doran would still be on the board though.
oh, I thought you said him.
No, he wasn't in the top. He wasn't in the top 10.
Oh,
I'm getting
okay,
him.
okay. I'm taking Jalen Duran then. My
I'm
bad. I thought
getting
you
him.
said.
But all of those wings and all of them would be
Yeah, they done.
off the board except for Branham or Branham, Abaji, Doran, Williams, Sohan. Yeah. So
Definitely taking
I'm
Jalen.
hoping for one of those bigs to go up to go in the top 10 so one of these wings can drop.
What a wing. Okay, that makes sense. I think it
But
depends on the wing. There's some wings I don't want. I don't want all of them.
in the top 10, let me read the wings in the top 10. So you
Okay,
said you don't want Keegan Murray,
not a
even though
big
he's in
fan.
the top 10, you don't want him. AJ Griffin,
Not a big fan.
even though
Not a
he's
big
in the
fan
top
either.
10. Okay.
Not a big
None of
fan.
and both of y'all are not fans of Johnny Davis either.
Oh, hold on though. But if we did pick him, I'm not upset though. Like
Okay.
I
I
don't
mean, I
I don't
wouldn't be
want to say
upset
I'm
either.
not a big fan of Johnny Davis. I like him, but there's just other players that I would rather have. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
This
Any other
gentleman.
draft? The only other thing I want to cover in the draft, and then we'll open it up and just kick it, about the Knicks in terms of what we've been hearing. And anybody in the chat, you have any questions for us, any comments? Definitely put it in a chat as we open it up. Paris Doug, I appreciate you. We don't need a guy to crack the lineup, but Sohan and Tari Eason or Williams from Santa Clara is drafting need that would play. I think Paris, I just think we have to clear it out a little bit. We got to clear it out a little bit. Sohan plays some places I see him listed as a small forward, other places I see him listed as a power forward.
Right.
If he playing a power forward,
He ain't playing.
he's not. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not
he's not
playing.
playing at all. No.
And let me ask you this question. And I'll ask the chat as well. When we comparing Sohan with Obi, so Obi, we know what Obi does well, and we know he needs to. If he develops that 3-point shot, it opens up his game,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
But that's the same thing with Sohan. We know what he does well on the defensive end, and if he adds a 3-point shot, that opens up his game.
Hmm.
Is your preference for a rim runner, somebody who could stretch the floor vertically like Obi, and then develop a 3-point shot, or somebody with defensive versatility like Sohan and what he can bring if he develops a 3-point shot?
To me personally, I think it depends on what type of team you have. But for us, like the Knicks, I would rather keep Obi than draft Jeremy Sohan.
Oh, I don't think it's yeah. I don't think it's
Yeah, like
yeah.
to
I don't
me,
think it's either
drafting
or.
him, I don't see where he plays and how often he plays as well. Like I don't see him getting any minutes. Like I just don't see it. Like
Well,
who's sitting down?
right. Well, that's true. Even if you play him at the even if you play him at the small forward, it's definitely a glut.
Yep. And he can't shoot, so if you put him at the small forward and he can't shoot, yeah, I
That's a
don't see him.
problem.
Yeah, I don't see Tibbs playing him, even though his defensive versatility is key. But yeah, he don't really do anything else well.
You like Eason over Doran?
I mean,
Ron
he's a Mets
Dorrington?
fan, so what you expect? He's a Mets fan.
Hold on, he said I really think you need to make sure that. Okay, okay,
And you like Matherin over Ivy? Wow. Okay.
nice. I like
And
Matthew
Davis,
too.
Abaji,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Eason, or Doran?
Eason is very intriguing. I mean, he plays defense. Obviously, I think he has like they say he measured as the has the biggest hands of the draft. I don't know. He's just kind of I don't know smallish otherwise when it comes to power forward and the center. But he is perfect if you want to like the like the Draymond Green type that could be small and play the 5 and the 4 and stuff like that. But I'm not picking him at 11 either.
Who's that?
Eason,
Eason. Yeah, I
yeah,
think yeah,
from
that's kind
LSU.
of high. Yeah, I do think we're underrating Sohan. I think he does do other things like be able to get a rebound, dribble down the floor, pass it. His playmaking, his vision is okay, but in order for him to reach his ceiling,
He has to shoot.
he has to be able to shoot. He has to be able to um, hit the three. So, yeah, Sohan can dribble. He can dribble in and pass. Um,
Let's see. Okay, Easton has Kawhi hands and a very high motor. I do agree with that. He has big hands and has a high motor. Like it just remains to be seen what his ceiling is, though.
What does that bring into the Knicks though? His hands, because his hands big.
He will have to play like three. He can play 3, 4, and 5. That's it. He's very versatile defensively, also. So I don't know. Like I could see Easton being the pick, but at 11, it's a little bit high. If we traded down
yeah,
and
Yeah,
picked Easton,
I wouldn't do that.
I could see
yeah,
Tibbs using Easton like more than Shohan, to be honest. Because
really,
because he could play like the 3, 4, and the 5. Like
right,
he's a little stronger. Like Ron said, he has big hands and stuff like that. But yeah, either one of them could be picked by us, but I don't see either one of them like getting a lot of minutes. We'll have to trade down. I don't see them at 11. I just don't see it at
right,
11.
right, right. And that's why when you talk about the Knicks draft board and you talk about the 11th pick, it's only about what 4 or 5, maybe 6, 6 players that you would take there. But yeah, I'm sure the Knicks, they have a good scouting, scouts. So I'm sure they
Ron,
got them broken down into tiers. And if those guys are going at 11, I'm sure they're going to draft down. They're going to trade down. If the
right.
guys that they want are gone, why draft them at 11 when you could trade down, get another pick?
That's true. I see Ron compared him to Mikal
That's a
Bridges.
very good point. And I know Andy. Shout out to Andy. He's high on Sohan as
Hmm.
well because of his ability the ability
That
to
is
really
true.
guard.
That is true. They can guard.
Yeah,
I can't argue that. They definitely their calling card. Both of those guys are definitely is defense.
right.
He
But
reminds me of Oubre.
Who? Which
So
one? Sohan.
Sohan, I think he's
yeah, he reminds me of Oubre.
Only Oubre
Could,
got a little more sauce to his offensive game. That's all.
yeah.
He's a better
Um,
he's a better offensive player.
Oubre or Sohan?
Oubre. He's a
Okay.
better offensive player than Sohan.
So why would we're not picking him at 11, or we talking about
No,
trading down to
It
yeah.
get?
depends. It depends on who you ask. Some people would actually pick him at 11. I just wouldn't. Not when
No,
other
stop.
players are still
No,
at on the
I
board.
ain't
Yeah.
doing that.
So,
I ain't doing that.
some mock drafts have him in the top 10.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
The Bleacher Report has him
Hmm.
at 13 because their thinking is it's not just the defense. He has vision as well. I don't vision might be a little too strong. He can find the open guy when when he has the ball, and he can dribble some.
Okay.
So the idea is he's already shooting 30%, close to 30%. If his three-point shot becomes respectable, right?
Hmm.
And he gets a mid-range shot together with the defense, then you're talking about a high-level player. The
True.
question is, do you want to bet on, you know, are you betting on him developing a respectable three-point shot? Are you betting on him developing, a mid-range shot? Because if you put that with what he already has,
Right. And if he doesn't develop either, his floor is like, why the hell did you draft him that high? You know what I'm saying? Say if he
but he
doesn't
can,
develop either,
right, 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 right,
I'm not drafting nobody with those intangibles. Those intangibles at 11 if they don't have anything else, and I don't think they're going to develop it. It just depends, I guess.
right. I mean, I looked at him today. I looked at a few of his tapes and
Highlights.
and
Mm.
and read a well, the draft breakdowns, where they
Hmm.
break down the strengths and weaknesses. And shout out to Hoop Intellect. I listen. I watch a lot of his
Yes, I watch him too.
videos and his breakdowns. And he had a new one on Sohan that I was a relatively new. I think less than a week
Hmm.
that I was able to watch today, and it made me appreciate, even more than his defense, some of the other stuff that he does bring, and he does have high IQ as well.
Yes.
But okay. Anything else on the draft? The question I had, I've been hearing a lot of trade Randall for the seventh pick. And what
Mm.
I'll say to that is I just disagree. I just think that I would want more
Wait,
than the
7 and
seventh
that's
pick.
it?
Right.
Yeah, to
But
Portland.
but some people, some
Nah,
people,
Randall
some
worth more
people
than that. I don't even like Randall.
some people were saying that we would have to throw something else in to get the
Yeah,
seventh pick.
that's
That they
just me.
wouldn't just take Randall by himself, and I just
Yeah,
don't.
you
I'm
just
not
really
even
hate
looking at that. I'm
Randall at
not
that.
even looking at that because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't
Every
think.
trade is Randall. Every trade they could even trade him for Campbell's soup. They're putting him in a trade.
Yeah, man. Like Julius Randle is
It
worth
don't make
more.
no sense.
He's worth
Every
way
single
more than the
trade is
seventh pick.
trade Randall, yo. So no, I'm not doing that for the seventh pick. No, Portland. Mm-mm.
We
Nah.
would have to get more than that.
Yeah, we got to get more than that. Like I wouldn't mind a trade, but it has to be more than the seventh pick. It has to
Oh,
be.
oh, Shy Power said the seventh pick and Eric Bledsoe. Nah, I'm still not.
What? Nah, I'm
No,
good.
no, no, no,
I'm
not no
good.
Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Not even Nurkic I want. Now, if you're talking Anthony Simons, maybe.
Remember Sohan against USC? Yes, I remember that comeback, and I'm so glad they didn't. But so if that's the case, we should draft Abaji because that his comeback actually worked, and actually, because Kansas comeback on us was legendary, just like that comeback was. But yeah, I remember Sohan. He's a pretty good player, yeah. But it's just being picked at 11 is what gets
Right,
me.
right. But he is mocked in the lottery.
Right.
He is mocked in the lottery.
So that means I'm picking him above like is other players on the board.
That's the thing. That's the
Yeah, like
thing. That's why.
right.
But I think for the Knicks, first, if you move past where you're going to play him, somebody on the Knicks that can switch and play all five positions, that can, he plays well on the ball, he plays well off the ball, he plays well in pick and roll.
Hmm.
defense. He can rebound, bring the lead, the break, the fast break. In the half court, he can make. He can see. I'm not mad at that pick, but I
Yeah,
think you know at 11 though, if
it's
all
just
of
at
other players
11,
are still on the board, I wouldn't
right?
do it. I wouldn't
But
do it.
like you said, like if they do draft him, if that is the pick at 11, I'm not crying and I'm not upset. It's just not what I would have done.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
crying depending on who else is on the board.
Yeah, like
It
if
depends on who
Griffin,
else is. If Griffin is, and Griffin is not even a pick of mine because of his injury history. But if Griffin is on the board, I'm crying. If
really, I think I might
Look,
pick him over Griffin
you would pick him over
look,
AJ
because
Griffin,
the defense and the injury history. That's why.
because
I do not want AJ Griffin. They better
I don't.
keep him
Yeah, I
far
don't
away
want
from
AJ
me.
Griffin. I don't care where we draft. I don't want him
wow,
because of those things.
He better stay away far from the Knicks.
Right. I could see him as soon as we draft him, his knee go out again. Nah. Mm-mm.
You know
Him,
what? If they draft him, I'm putting on my Knicks cap, man.
yeah,
I'm good.
I'll be mad if we draft him because if we drafted him, I know that there are other players that we definitely could have got.
Yeah, I'll be mad. I'll be pissed.
I'll
I'll
be
be
mad at
very,
AJ
very
Griffin.
pissed.
I ain't gonna lie.
right
I'll be
now
pissed. I'll be
in
pissed.
NBADraft.net. That's what I'm saying. These players are all up and down the board. Dyson Daniels is 19.
Mm,
Um,
that ain't happening. Not no more.
Abaji is 10. Tati is 11. To the Knicks. So there's some draft boards that are.
When was that? That has to be.
Why
That's
they
old.
keep linking us to this kid, man?
This was May 24th.
Wow, that's
This is
last
like
week.
a week
Yeah.
ago.
And Bleacher Reports was May 31st. But Bleacher
That was today.
today.
Mm, yeah,
It's
that's the
pretty
day.
much what I've been, pretty much what I've been seeing. Even though they got Shaden Sharp going 10. And
Yeah, that's
Branham going 11 to the Knicks.
Shaden Sharp is the one I seen the most fluctuation. I see him being drafted 5 all the way down to 15. I've seen a big reach for him, which makes sense because he's the most unknown player. Like what you're getting, you don't know exactly what you're getting.
The boy got
Right.
talent, man. The boy
He
got
does.
talent.
He does. So we got him at 11. I'm not mad at
I
that
wouldn't be
either.
mad. I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, I wouldn't
He ain't
be.
playing, but I'm not mad. He definitely not playing.
Yeah.
Now this is when we gonna send him to the G League.
Yeah, he definitely going to the G.
I see him as a G League going to the
Right.
G League.
Right. NBC has us taking Doran. Pretty much everybody else is off the board by that time.
Okay.
So
Remember, I
I'm
said
okay with that.
I think it was either last week or week before. I told y'all I would take Duran.
Yeah.
He was my
Remember,
first
I
person.
did say that.
When we first had our draft, everybody got mad at me because I said I wanted to pick a center. I remember that. I remember that night. Everybody got on me. All the Mitches came out and got on me. But it is
Yeah.
what it is, man. We might not have Mitch.
Yeah, we
We'll
might not.
see.
Anything else?
No, I think I'm good, man. Like it's just, like every draft. Draft is a crapshoot. We don't know where everybody's going.
And somebody always falls.
Somebody always falls. Somebody always gets picked too high that they shouldn't
Mhm.
have been picked. It's the draft. It's just like any other sport. Football is the same way. It's the same
Right.
thing. Like it's a crapshoot. You never know where anybody's going.
Jura, but you know what I'm worried about is that Johnny Davis, he already getting commercials nationwide. Number 2, he is a CAA client.
He is. So if he's at
Okay.
11, if he's there,
Listen,
they're
I
gonna draft.
just have a funny feeling that he will drop to us.
My thing is, if
Just
we
like how Obi mysteriously landed.
right, because I thought Cleveland was gonna pick Obi, to be honest.
Okay.
I ain't
So
gonna lie.
watch it.
I didn't think
Look,
Obi was gonna get to us either. So I didn't even think of us drafting Obi, to be honest. I thought he was gonna be picked already.
yeah.
He's going somebody that fell.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised, man. Even though I want Duran if he do fall to us, but for some reason, man, some reason this Johnny Davis kid is picking up a lot of steam.
We'll see. I think, to be honest,
Yeah.
at 11, like we're drafting so high, I really can't be upset at anybody.
Well, if it's
To
a
be
reach though,
Yeah, it
if you
depends
feel
on
like
yeah, that's true.
yeah,
That's true. You right.
but I listen. I may have issues with the front office as far as free agency is concerned, but as far as the draft,
I mean, cool.
yeah,
Yeah, they
I
got
concur.
what's his name? Perrin.
Yeah,
So and yeah, I know he's gonna have a say, and I think he's got a good eye for talent. So
I know. It told me I gotta get mad.
I think it depends on who's still on the board.
Depends on who's still on the board.
It
Like,
yeah,
okay, cool. We picked Davis, but if Big Ben is still
to
on,
get mad, Jarrell.
are you
right.
crazy?
You pick Davis, you right, and Mathurin is still on the
Yeah,
board.
I'm pissed then. Yeah, I'm mad then. But I wouldn't be mad if if they were taken already. Like, but yeah, if Ben Mathurin's on the board
Look,
and we
if
pick Davis,
Mathurin's still on the board and you pick Davis,
yeah, I'm gonna be mad.
you on something, bro.
Right. I'm gonna be
Are
mad.
you serious?
But some people actually have Davis ahead of him though. We've already had that conversation before.
Well,
True.
Stafford does.
No, you don't have Davis. You have Ben Mathurin over Davis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Davis. I'm thinking
Yeah.
Daniels.
Oh yeah.
No, Davis,
About
yeah.
Davis. I know some people that actually have Davis over Ben Mathurin.
I don't know. I can't see it. Something wrong with them too.
Matter of fact, salute to Josh. I
They
think
they
Josh is
they
one.
they,
But I
they
think
getting something. They give him
Josh
something
is one of the
spiking the coffee
Davis
every
guys.
morning. If that's the case,
I think Tony too. Tony is a Davis guy. I think
yeah.
he
But I
wanted.
think
nah, bro.
I think part of it is that Davis carried a heavy load for
And
Wisconsin. He had a
I,
high usage rate.
yeah, but I don't see how
And
what that got to do with anything about with the Knicks. What that mean?
well, I guess what they're saying is they were loading up on him game after game because he was really the only guy, and then he was able to still,
I ain't
yeah,
buying that. I'm
Yeah,
not buying
be able to
that. I'm
still
not
shoot in the
buying
low
that because
40s.
you was lights out in the regular
What does that
season.
mean? Yeah,
but
Not
Stafford
buying that,
people
man.
players do have bad. It's not like a series in the NCAA. You only get one game.
that's true. You only get one game. It's not like a
So
series.
you're telling me Panchero and which was a whole bunch of freshmen won the championship. What? Come on, man.
Hey,
He's a sophomore. He's
hey,
been no. I'm not.
Ben Mathurin is. But hold on though, Richard Jefferson isn't a bad player though.
Right,
See, that's the thing. Especially when he
right.
first came into the league, like Richard Jefferson was actually good. Like when he first got into the league, especially when he was with the Nets and Jason Kidd.
Hmm.
But I ain't jumping on. Yeah, I ain't gonna argue too much over Richard Jefferson though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm only gonna argue so hard over Richard Jefferson. But you're right.
I mean, listen. Last year we went hard on the draft with these players, digging in, and then when you look
Yeah.
at them, this year a lot of them didn't play. So, when you
Hmm.
draft a player, you're talking about 2-3 years down the line. Look at Book Knight. Everybody was so
I was about
high
to
on
say
Book Knight.
that was my son. Like James Booknight was my guy. I wanted us to trade up
But
for
we
James
can't
Booknight.
find him in Charlotte.
But
We
now
can't
you're
find. We
right.
still trying to find him.
He's in the G League.
I ain't
But
got nothing to do with that staff. He would have got burned on my team. But yeah, that's like my son, James Booknight. But yeah, you're right. Like he didn't play that much.
but listen, but what does that mean though? Like, does that mean he was a bad pick or just the team that he was on?
Yeah, situation.
It was just the situation. And, he still has that same talent and that same upside, in my opinion.
Right.
Well, I mean, they
So
fired the coach, so let's see what happens.
let's see what happened. But
I
a
know
lot
he's
of the
happy.
players, look at Okoro. Okoro went. I wasn't really high on Okoro though when he was coming out. He went 5.
You
You know,
took
he had
Okoro.
Cleveland,
Cleveland. I
That's who
mean,
Cleveland.
I thought they was gonna pick Obi, and they picked
right,
him.
2 years ago.
Right.
And he's developing okay, but that jump shot still not
Right.
coming along. And those that's sleeping on Daniels, remember Halliburton. I remember watching, that's when I first discovered YouTube content creators. I used to just listen to podcasts, and I
Mhm.
used to get so pissed off because everybody was talking about Ntilikina. Every time I got on a podcast, they talk about Nila. I'm like, oh. So I just
Right.
happened to I was like, and people was serious. They was into it serious. I was like,
Yep.
wow. So, and I just happened to be flipping through YouTube, and then I saw KFTV, then I saw nothing but Knicks, and I said, "There's a whole Nick world
Yep.
out here."
I was the
And that's
same
when
way,
I,
Steph.
I started flipping through. I was like, "Now this is what I'm talking about."
I was the same way. And NBK was the first ones that I saw.
Yeah.
I found Sim. But yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's how it was. Like you wouldn't believe all exactly all the Frank Ntilikina. I was like, there's people out here really like Frank. Like I couldn't understand it. I didn't know
And
anybody personally
yeah,
that was like a Frank Ntilikina fan like that.
yeah, me
Most of
either.
everybody in my friends circle thought he was a bum.
Yeah, and
That's
not
what
Mhm.
we
only
always
that,
used to call him.
it was hard for me to listen to the podcast. Like
Right.
podcasts that I had had them lined up in my little app. Everyone they going in on Ntilikina. I was like, oh,
Yep.
I can't even watch. And when I clicked on to MBK, clearly this wasn't a day when Cornerstone was on. They was having a rational conversation about Ntilikina, the
Right.
pros, the cons, and I
Hmm.
said, okay,
Right. Actual
I can get with this.
breakdown of why.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It's different.
I'm like, okay, I can get, and that was that.
I see
Um,
somebody in the chat say I thought Davis was a shooting guard. Yeah, he's a shooting guard. He's not a.
he is a shooting guard.
Yeah, that's one thing about him compared to some of the other prospects. Like Ben Mathurin, he could probably play 2, 3.
Hmm.
Davis to me is right now he's just strictly a 2. I don't see him playing the 3, and he's definitely not a point guard. At least not yet. He probably could, you know, run the offense through him, but not now. Like not his rookie year. I don't see it at all. He has to work on his ball handling and stuff like that in order to be a point guard.
Who's
Or
this? Davis? They talking
yeah,
about? Yeah,
like
yeah,
to me, he's
for sure.
strictly a 2 guard, and that's it for right now.
Yeah, I would love for the Knicks to draft. I don't know if there's anybody. I don't want them to reach, but somebody 6'8". I would. That's what I want for Christmas. So like a 6'8" small forward that can shoot and defend.
Yeah,
I,
his name is Cam Reddish. He's on the team already.
Yeah, well, let's
Exactly.
see.
That's why I said it. Being
Yeah, let's
sarcastic, but
see.
yeah,
Let's
you
see.
want Cam with a high motor.
Listen, if Cam pops, I'm happy.
Oh yeah,
6'8", he
yeah.
defends, he pops, he shoots. I'm happy because that's what the Knicks need.
Cam, if Cam popped and actually say if Cam just got up, I don't know, it'd just be perfect. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah,
That would be the perfect scenario for the Knicks.
yeah. Parrish, you're right, but a lot of these players is in shoes.
He just got measured. He's 6'6", even.
Right. But with shoes, I mean, listen, these guys don't play in their socks. They
I was about
play
to
in their
say
shoes.
6'3".
So as long as they 6'6" in their shoes,
When people do
we
the
good.
measurements without shoes, who
Yo.
cares about those measurements? Not even GMs and stuff, because basketball players do not play barefoot.
Right.
So
So
all
it's
the like the he's this and this without shoes on, don't like the GMs and coaches, and nobody cares about the measurement without shoes.
The only one that cares is showing M.
right, right.
Yeah, because I
Exactly.
think he did say he measured
Shout
without
out to
shoes.
showing
But
M,
yeah,
man. That's my boy.
I go by like official combine numbers and stuff like that. So if the combine say he's 6'6" with like a 6'10" wingspan or 6'11" wingspan, I
Right.
forgot. Talking about Ben.
Right. Then that's
So
what it
yeah,
is.
he's
I
6'6".
go by that too.
Yeah, to
And
me,
and they
6'6"
they give you without shoes, with shoes, but I take with shoes
with
because
shoes.
they play with shoes.
Right. Unless they're playing volleyball on the beach, it doesn't matter what their measurements are without shoes.
Oh boy, foot I go get bun up in that sun.
Yeah. The Knicks must trade this pick. It's not worth it. You know what though? As much the more I dig into the draft, though, I do think you could find some good players
Yeah.
in this draft. And listen, it's a mini crapshoot anyway. Somebody's gonna pop. somebody outside of the top 10 is gonna pop a few years down the line.
Yep.
Um, the two players I was saying from UCLA is Johnny Juzang
Hmm.
and Jimmy Jasquez Jr.
Yep.
Hmm.
One guard and one forward.
And the other kid from UCLA that I was talking about before, other than them two, is Patton. I forgot his name. I think his name is Watson. Peyton Watson. He just came out in the draft too. Like he was actually the most heralded recruit out of all of them. But he's the youngest, and like his ceiling is high, but people worry about like what his floor is going to be.
So what he came off the bench because I don't remember.
Yeah.
'Cause I know it was Campbell that was starting, right?
He's a no. He wasn't a. Campbell was the point guard. The dude I'm talking about ain't a point guard. He's like a.
Okay,
He
okay.
played a 2-3 also. I think he around 6'7", 6'8". He was a freshman. He came. He was supposed to be like the scorer off the bench for them.
Mm.
That's all. But he has like a lot of things going on with him too when it comes to intangibles and if he's going to live up to expectations and stuff. So a lot of people not talking about him in the draft. To me, he seemed like he should have went back, but I think he's keeping his name in. His name is
Okay.
Watson from UCLA. But yeah, the other two dudes that you talked about, yeah, they can play too. They can, but we're not gonna get them at 11. But they could definitely play. They should get drafted and
No,
start.
no, I have them down later down in the draft. We could
Yeah,
get one of them
they can play.
if we're talking about trading back. You know.
Now Paris Douglas saying, watch the Arizona. No, see, he says not. Ben Matthews was measured as taller than Davis at the combine already. Like he's an inch taller. Not that an inch really means much, but yeah, Ben was measured as an inch taller at the combine. They both got measured,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah. Listen, we'll
For
see.
sure.
Listen, it's about how tall was Dwayne Wade?
Yeah, it don't really matter.
Okay.
6'3",
Okay.
6'3",
That's what
6'4".
we need. We need dogs, you know?
Yeah. You said NBA went measuring players without shoes 4 years ago. No, they didn't, because the combine still measures them with shoes on. So like the back of the baseball card or whatever, they're going with the measurements that the combine give.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they put those measurements out,
Right.
not the ones without,
Right.
them in their socks.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm quiet. I'm reading the chat like they.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just
No,
reading the
the
chat.
chat is
No,
listen to you.
shout out to Iduke, man. First year coach going to the finals, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Former Nick.
I
Former
hate
Nick.
the Celtics, but congratulations to the coach, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Big up yourself, man. Yeah, man. I don't think they're gonna win it. I got Warriors in 6.
Yeah, I
Really?
was hurt. I wanted Miami. I wanted Miami to win.
Okay.
Boston.
I refuse to root for Boston.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Warriors is 6'2".
Nah,
Hopefully.
that's why I just big up Iduke.
Right, right.
Yeah. Well, salute to him, former Nick. He got Nia Long is his wife now.
From
Yeah.
Trinidad.
Yeah.
Yep, he's doing okay for himself. I should say.
Yeah.
First year in the league as a head coach, going to the finals.
hmm I think
Oh,
I think between him and Steve Kerr is probably the only. Don't quote me, but I think it's the only first time head coaches that went to the NBA finals.
for first year, it might be. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Might be.
And Kerr did it.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, any last words before we
Nah,
head up
man.
out of here?
Salute Steph, salute Stafford Don, salute the chat. I love the Discord, going back and forth with the chat, telling y'all wrong and you telling me I'm wrong. It's all good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all good. There's no show without the chat.
Right,
doubt
right.
about it.
Love the chat, man. Most of the time I'm sitting here reading everything
Yeah,
that you guys are saying.
yeah.
Real. And shout out to the chat. Queen, you already know it's always a pleasure coming on. I'll be having so much fun. We don't more time to the time be passing. We don't even know what time it is.
Yeah, I
Look,
know. I looked. I'm like, oh, we over 2 hours
hold on.
already.
Yeah,
Some,
the
I got off that
conversation.
plane yesterday. I was like, last night go through customs. I was like, oh man, I
somebody
have
in
to
the
get up
chat, right?
early. Huh?
Somebody in the chat said Davis is a shooting guard. They can't shoot threes. That's what I'm saying. But a lot of people don't want to hear that
Yep.
though.
But I think,
But
but
Queen,
you don't think he'll
welcome
get
back.
better though. Thank you. I
Hopefully,
appreciate.
I mean it's up to him. But yeah, hopefully, I think he'll get better. But that just remains to be seen. Like if you can't shoot, in college, I can't just go on a limb and say yeah he's going to get better. Not if you're an actual shooting guard.
Well, the
Like you
last the
should.
last question before I get out of here on Davis. Do you think though that him having to take contested shots, or things like that brought his percentage down, and in the NBA he'll get more open.
I've seen no because I've seen
He
Wisconsin
already
enough that
shaking his head. I didn't
right
even
because
finish the. I didn't even
because
finish
some of
the
them shots was
question.
open and he missed. Like it's not like he had people hanging on him while he was shooting the 3 pointers every 3 point shot. He's just not a great 3 point shooter. That's all.
Yeah, man.
Like it's just a knock in his game that he has to get better. But I think he's going to get better. But like NBA level shooting, like maybe
Mhm.
like 35 to 40% from the three. That remains to
Oh
be
no,
seen. We'll see.
that's
Paris
high.
Duggar. Come on, you can't compare DeMar DeRozan to Davis, bro.
Mm-mm,
Come on, there's no comparison.
mm-mm.
Stop,
No,
stop,
no, no.
stop,
I don't want to
stop,
compare like all stars to him. Like, yes,
stop.
DeMar DeRozan is nasty at shooting mid range, but he's like the
And you
nastiest
can,
in the
no, but
league.
when DeMar Rosen is ready, he can shoot a 3 too.
He can.
DeMar can shoot a 3 too when he's ready. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's totally two different.
And
And
plus,
y'all get those likes up, man. Press that thumbs.
Oh,
and plus,
Get those
definitely.
likes up for the queen, man. Get it up, get it up, get it up, get it up.
right, right. And plus with
Make sure
Davis,
you follow her on Twitter too. Dope Sports Talk.
Yeah.
word.
On Twitter, I'm BK Steph 33. And if you
Mhm.
haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I'll be putting out another video too. I try to put out a video once a week. I think the last video I put out was my takes on the Mark Berman interview that was done on a Nothing But Knicks channel. I was part of the panelists. And obviously when you have a guest, you have to give them the floor, you ask them the questions. That's not the time to push back, on what they have to say. Not that I really disagree with anything he had to say, but I put out a separate video just saying, my thoughts on his takes
Right, which is
on the
fair.
Knicks. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely. Anyway, I appreciate you, Staffer. I appreciate you, Jarrell. I appreciate the chat. Jonathan Green, Kevin Bergen, Paris, Duggar, Geraldine was here. Ron from Still Nick Fans was here. Howard Smith, Justin L, Sherwin M, Canal Band Lawyer, D Coolest 718, Harlem Girl, of course. Sangford 929. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I appreciate you from rocking with us. We'll be back. We'll be back
Let's
Peace.
go
next.
Rangers. Let's go
Yes.
Yes.
Rangers.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go Rangers.
Yankees, let's go.
No Mets. Go Yankees.
I'm not
I
a
got a
baseball
Steve
fan.
Ron still Knicks fan.
Go Giants. Go
Go
Giants.
Giants too. Yes, yes. Yes, go Giants too. We could do that as well. Go
Right.
Giants.
Peace,
Oh
fam.
boy.
Peace.
Peace and
Fam.
love.